All I wanna do is play my guitar, but here I am rapping ghetto superstar. All I wanna do is play my guitar, because I'm rapping ghetto superstar. What else can I just say?
Where were you last night when CM Punk made his wrestling debut? Return after 7 years.
I mean, I was just wondering where's Big Show.
Oh, he's also in the same company, by the way.
I actually don't know who CM Punk is, to be honest, but I think I saw someone post on my Facebook about that.
He can't
And I was
avoid it.
actually going to comment, wait, where's Big Show?
You should have. You should have. You would have looked ignorant, but you should have.
Because I think he put, I don't think he was happy about it. I think he put, I don't even know who he was asking about. He was asking about someone else. But I think the song was like, where is Big Show, right? Or, forgot. What was
CM
Big Show's
Punk
anthem?
show or Big Show's theme song? Well, well, it's the Big Show. It's a blues song. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
It's a big bad show tonight. Yeah. For some reason, they always do that to the big men. You probably, well, you are old enough, but I don't know if you watched it when you were young. Do you remember somebody named Diesel?
No.
Or you ever heard of this guy Kevin Nash?
That guy, I do remember the name. I don't have a picture in my mind.
When he was in WWF, his name was Diesel, right? They kind of modeled him after a truck, because I don't know. But you would hear a truck horn, and then this blues song. I don't even remember the blues song because it is kind of cheesy. But I was like, it is funny. All the way to Big Show to him. They're essentially the same size, but Big Show is obviously like grand. Kevin Nash is more like lean, if you could say that for a 7-footer, you know. But yeah, they both have just blues. I don't know, for some reason, their composer is one of the GOATs. They had a composer for like maybe 20, 30 years. I guess they still have one now, but they had the same guy kind of there, Jim Johnston. And he's really dope overall, his career, but that is some weird choices, like with the big men, that they kind of give him these blues music. I don't know what it is about that. But I'll say this though. So when he has that part of that music, the reason why he has that blues music is because he's good. Diesel now I'm talking about. But before he was good, he was bad. And I think probably one of my favorite musics, because it's kind of eerie, like if you see it. So the blues song started with the truck horn, right? But when he was bad, his theme music was just the truck horn looped. It was literally like a 10 to 18 second loop. And it kind of was eerie. There's no music. It was just, and then you heard the thing like almost like a horror movie, like in neutral. And I was like, how did you not keep that forever? I don't care if you good, you know,
yeah.
It's like there's no other music like that for anyone. I was like, these idiots, yo. I kind of just found out about that this year, like because I watch a lot of the classic stuff on my second screen when they stream it illegally on Twitch. And I was like, dude, that's fucked up. Like, that's some horror shit. I was like,
yeah.
Like, yeah, like I could literally see somebody getting like stabbed like in a movie like to that, you know, like it's just like a truck serial killer guy and like the lights turn on, you know, and like I don't know. But anyway, to kind of end this with the Big Show stuff, his current music right now, like he just kind of changed companies a few months ago, and he still has the same vocalist. They purposely picked him up again for the new song. And so he kind of imitates, I think he starts the same way, like, well, I don't know the song because I don't know, it's not that good. And now he's older now, so he's more doing commentary right now, and he'll sporadically show up, so you don't even get to hear that music, really, so it's not ingrained in my head. But his theme is now, his t-shirt and all that is no more BS. It's a double entendre. Obviously, no more Big Show. That's what it means for that purpose. But it means no more bullshit because he didn't really like what they made him do in the old company.
Oh damn. Okay.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. Like no more BS because it works, you know.
Nice.
But yeah, nah, last night was a big night. It's kind of worth. If you care, I could show you his entrance. Not now, but like I'll send you a link. Cause just to see 20,000 people go insane, especially now in the COVID world where there's not many gatherings.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of intense crowd. Like they kind of just showed up to see this man stand in the ring and talk, and then everything else that happened was just like whatever.
Damn.
So it was kind of interesting. They literally just planned that event last night for him. Like that's crazy.
Gotcha. Yeah, honestly, I was never really into wrestling. It was really just the games.
What
the
games?
PlayStation 1 games.
What games?
It must have been. Which games have the Royal Rumble in it? Because that
At
was
this point, probably all of them. So like,
all of them.
what system are you playing? Like,
PS1, PS1 or PS2.
To see, by then I'm probably almost kind of. I know I played some PS1 games, but that's probably the last wrestling games I played. After that, I don't know.
It must have been SmackDown then.
I had that one. That was on PSX. I think it had The Rock on the cover. I definitely had that one though. At that point, I liked any of those games just because they had wrestling, and I kind of liked all the shit going on back then. Because I know in retrospect, some of those games were bad. I don't know how bad SmackDown was, but man, there was a shitty game on the other company called Thunder on PSX. Woo! It's trash looking. It's a trash game. But at that point, I probably just liked it because whatever. I liked all that shit, you know. My favorite wrestling game, though, if you ever played it, was the 64 one. That's a classic for a lot of people. The same way GoldenEye is a classic for a lot of people. WCW versus NWO. Maybe it's called Revenge or some shit. But it was a 64 game, and it kind of pioneered the stereotypical wrestling game setup for a little while, like what the mechanics of the game should be, where we basically grab each other and we kind of mash some buttons to do a move, you know. It kind of pioneered that stuff, but it was 4 players too, and that's probably why. Just like GoldenEye was 4 players, it kind of 64 were having those 4 ports there, and you didn't have to buy an extra multi-tap or some bullshit. Yeah. So a lot of games took advantage of that 4-player thing. So yeah, it had that going for it. So that was a big game growing up in New York. like it's going to people's apartments and shit and playing that.
Yeah. I actually never. I jumped from Nintendo to PS1. I like skipped everything in between. I mean, you know, I had some
Which
friends
Nintendo?
that had the first one.
Oh,
the
NES.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I had NES, and then
my man calls it NES on the streets.
PS1.
He don't even do acronyms. He does the NES.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I had friends who had like the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. 64 was my first system I didn't buy that I did that, where I had to start playing at a friend's house.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Funnily, I don't think I had friends that had 64. Did the 64 release before PlayStation 1? Or was that like the...
If I had to guess off my head without looking stuff up, I would say yes. Yeah, I would say, but I could be wrong on that. Because I do remember like the criticism of everybody starting to switch to CDs, and they kept with the cartridge, so I could be wrong too. Because they were anal forever. It took them forever to release their first CD. Because even when they did GameCube, they did the mini CDs or whatever, you know?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And I want to say after GameCube is maybe Wii, and I think that's finally when they do CDs, you know? Sega was stubborn too with the Dreamcast. They did
and then Switch, they went back to cartridge. But I think it's like partially cartridge.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Switch is cartridge, and then I think you also have to download.
So you see with Switch, I don't blame them for that because they did some I guess, you know, from a, you know, right, for all these things, whether it's wrestling or music, right? But music, I feel like, has taken me the hardest to learn this lesson, right? A lot of these things we look at, right? It's the music business, it's the video game business. You know, even though we're looking at it from an artsy perspective or a fun perspective first, right? It's business first, you know, for them anyway, maybe not for us. But with the Switch being when that thing was first announced, first off, I was like just me, like the artsy me was like, man, they always doing some dumb shit. Like they always doing their own shit. They never want to conform, you know, and I guess it works for whatever. But that being said, and for what I'm into, that's why I usually post 64 is kind of when they started their real division. And then like they never really had me, right? I didn't play Smash, so I didn't really need to ever really own that system. I wasn't big on the Zelda, whatever. But the Switch got announced, and I was like, these fucking cheaters, right? They know they always win the mobile market. They always lose at home, right? Because they do weird decisions, you know, like so.
Yeah.
So they came up with the hybrid thing, and that like it's both. It's portable and it's not. It's not.
That's true.
It's like that way when we lose the home market, we still got the portable, and we only got to have 2 R&D divisions. Look, we concede, but they can't. You can't take your PlayStation 5 mobile. You can't take your
That's
Xbox,
true.
whatever number that shit is, mobile. You know, or your real computer. You know,
Yeah.
So yeah, they kind of like they dip into both worlds. That way, if you do want to play at home, and you know what, in the quarantine world we entered last year, it's like at least you're not stuck playing like this. You can beam it, you know, like so. Yeah, so I mean that's probably the best decision they made. Like they probably should just never deviate from that unless they take such a huge market share that it warrants it. But they probably should always have mobile home
Yeah.
consoles now, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I was actually tempted. I was on a bus. I had to take the bus today,
Yeah.
and I was tempted to take it with me to keep playing, but then I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to be walking around with a game console in my hands, like,
It's too
playing
much.
on the subway, and then yeah.
It's too much.
But I was tempted because you are right. It is still, even though they did make a Switch version that's supposed to be even more mobile,
Yeah.
like
Oh, they did?
it's still, yeah, it's like a Switch Lite, I
I think
think.
I sort of remember this.
Yeah,
Wait, but
but
can that one play at home or no?
the Switch Lite, I
Yeah.
think you can technically do it, but I mean, to me, I'm like, if you're home, I'd rather just play on the Switch because you get like a bigger screen and you're
Gotcha.
home. So it's like, you're right. It's still not that big, even the normal Switch one.
Mm.
But
I've only played Switch, I want to say, I think only once in my life. And
mm,
semi unique story for music in that it was at the after party um of the Neon Indian show. So that's my Switch experience. I played Mario Party with Neon Indian.
oh, so you must have been the one that told me about Neon Indian because I had a friend that just recently commented on one of my Instagram posts,
Yeah.
and she said one of the beats reminded her of Neon Indian. And I was like, why
Of
does that
your beat
name
battle
sound
beats
familiar?
or something else you
Yeah,
did?
she said one of them
I'm
sounded
curious
like
which
it to
one
her.
because I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like it's like that. I don't know because I didn't actually listen to his music,
Yeah,
but she was saying that she was feeling the vibe to be like that.
I have a
And she was like,
stereotype.
"Is it a Texas thing?" And I was like, "I have no idea," but I was like, I didn't like respond to her, but I
Damn,
did
you didn't even
remember
respond to
hearing
her?
that.
Come on, dude. It's
Because I
like-
saw her like the next day and she just
oh,
was
okay.
like,
So
"Oh,
you
you're
brought it up
making
in real
beats."
life. All right.
Yeah, well, she didn't bring up the Neon Indian thing, but she just like brought up the fact that I was making beats.
Yeah,
So then I was just like, "Oh yeah, it's for some beat battle."
yeah. Damn, for some beat
Uh,
battle, that's all it is. See, it's just some trash I do out of pity. Out of pity. It's like,
yeah,
damn, you gonna change
yeah,
company soon and be like, no more SBs, you know, no more shitty beat battles.
yeah. She was just like, "Oh, Neon Indian," and then I just remember thinking that I knew the name for some reason, even though I don't listen to it.
Yeah.
But okay.
It's Texas local, like for the music scene, we were all in.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're gonna know the name, even if you don't know the music. The same way you would know, like I'm still not familiar with, what's the girls? The last time we played live, we played at, they own the venue, that bar. The girl in a coma. Yeah, girl
Oh,
in a coma,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, I'm still not really familiar with their music, but if you in the scene, you're gonna know that band, at that time at least, if you were in the scene, you're gonna hear
Yeah,
their
it's
name.
funny. I think I've told you that I played one of my first gigs was when Girl in a Coma played too. I think they were
Oh, they just
at the
started?
time. I think they must have been out a little bit, but they were still. I would assume they were definitely on the starting roots because they were also playing like some like random Guadalupe like cultural arts center event.
Mm.
It was a long time ago. It was when I was in a cumbia band.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And I remember seeing them and I was just like, okay. Like it was cool, but I think at that level maybe I'm just not into the style, but when I heard them it didn't seem that interesting. But then later on in the years when I listened to their music, I was like, oh okay, it sounds pretty decent. Like it's pretty
Yeah.
chill. So I don't know if at the time they were still, getting their stuff together or whatever.
That's
Maybe I shouldn't be saying stuff. Let's cut that
You
from the
want that
record.
edited? No local hate. No local hate. um,
I like their music. It was just like I remember when I watched them, there was nothing like because I then later watched them later on in in their progression.
yeah.
And I think I must have watched them when they were kind of like about to break up. They were in that like weird flirting stage of like, oh yeah, we're still like sort
So
of
they hit
together,
their
but then
peak,
not really.
and then later, like the star takes over on their solo career.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So I think I went to watch them in that weird middle phase, and they definitely sounded like more professional, and if that's the way to put it,
got you.
versus the first time when I heard them. It
Yeah,
just
yeah,
was like, okay, it's like they sound cool, but you know how like you go to a show and like you gotta tell the other people like, oh, nice set, man.
yeah, yeah,
And like that joke where whether you think it or not, you just say nice set,
yeah,
like
yeah. I'm gonna
so.
come up. Well, see, that's why I don't go to shows no more. I think the new version of me is really honest. That's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomas always reminds me of I don't really remember his name no more because we're definitely not in contact no more. Because he was always bad at social media, and now, I'm barely on that now. But yeah, it was just like a phone number contact for a little while at a certain point. But something with an E. I don't know if it was Edgar or something, but like he was a guitar player, so maybe even you knew him. Um,
Oh, I think so. He was a guitar major.
yeah, but not Edgar Martinez, so it's a different Edgar.
Oh,
So like, or
or
a
maybe
different
not.
E, Edwin maybe. I don't remember. Like I kind of see his face, and I only remember this story because Tomas reminded me about it. Like maybe like this year or something. But I guess him and Xylo, maybe someone else. There is one probably the first time I seen Xylo live. But so at this point, so this is a real long time ago because obviously we would become all connected. But like first time I seen Xylo live, it's so early that I thought Xylo was a duo because he used to play with his friend. His name also escapes me, so I just assumed Xylo was a duo. But then the friend never showed up again, like after that. So it was just Sam, But they're jamming after their gig and they having fun. And it's the first Friday, right? So it's people and stuff. It's at like a house near the near that whole coffee shop area bullshit. I just don't remember the name. South some shit. South. A lot of that stuff's escaped my head. But anyway, I guess like I have to quote Tomas because I don't fully remember what I said, but I feel like I remember like fragments. So I think I went up to him and I asked him. He says I asked him like, "Yo, man, what the hell was that?" Cause I think like I don't know. I didn't realize like this counts too. Whatever they were doing, you know,
Gotcha.
so I did, and he said like then he pointed out to me later. I'm younger, like I said, I'm younger, you know. So Tomas tells me like, that dude's face shifted from like he was happy till he heard what I said, and then he won. I can't even do it because I'm laughing so much. But he won like, you know, like just like
Yeah.
obviously I wouldn't do that later on, you know, as that was made aware to me. But like who know? Like now I don't know. I probably wouldn't do it. Like that was like just real honesty. It wasn't like
Don't
hate
you
or
have
nothing.
a few stories like that?
Probably for many things, not just music.
I think you told me something like that happened between you and the Merriweathers.
Maybe. Damn, what is it? I want to hear it. I'm curious.
I don't know. I remember. I think you questioned one of the tunes that one of them turned in. It must have been Rustin, and I just remember that he was like, "Dude, don't ever question my music."
I could see that. That sound like Travis, right? No, wait, which one's the rapper? It sound like Rustin. That sound like
Yeah.
Rustin. That's what it sound like. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever. I don't think I've ever told someone straight up that I don't like their stuff.
I
I
mean,
think I
like,
just tend to be quiet and try not to put myself in the conversation of like having to comment on their stuff.
I like to be honest, man. So like, yeah. I think that shit is doper. In my
I mean,
opinion.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that actually.
Like,
I think it's like a weird mix. Like, I think it's okay to be honest if they're asking you, but at the same time, like, is there a way to be honest and still like find some good of it, or can you have a better criticism, or what is it, like a better critique that's more helpful
so I think a
than
lot
just
of times now, in the more nicest way, I might briefly be like, or I might not even say it at all. Like, I don't like this. I don't give a shit about this, whatever. But everybody's skill level that still fucks with me. Like, they're so good now that I'm like, oh, you know, I'll say something akin like, oh, this sound like a real track, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, or this might still sound insulting saying it like that. But like, it sound, you know, like, oh, it sound like legit. Or the mix is good or some shit, you know, like, so it's still a positive spin. But yeah, like, the more I fuck with you, like, the more honest. And that's good, I feel like, because then, you know, my circle that fucks with me knows, like, yo, this a real motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, I think over a certain point, too, and then you know, like, if you know me, I think you know what to get from me. So I think Tomas, for a good year when he had like, he just had like a bad mix situation, so he would send me stuff, like a lot of shit sometimes, like in that year, you know, and I think he would always ask me, without even ask me what I thought. It was like questions about, it was just focus, the mix. And yeah, so I would tell him like 5K is bad with the snare or whatever the fuck, you know? And he exploited me for that. Most people just send shit and they want things, and at this point I just been around all this too much, both consumption and making it, you know, that I'm like, the fuck you want me to say? Like
oh, well, okay, so that's what I mean, where I do agree partially with you. I don't know if I agree with you just saying like, what the fuck was that? But I do agree with like, yeah, like, it's cool if you can have some sort of criticism that's like helpful, but just saying like, what the fuck was that? It's like, okay.
Well, I was
like,
young when I said that. I didn't, so that was a revelation to me, because I didn't realize that, you know, but at that point, like, so that's literally probably close to me just starting making music. Like, that's probably close to like 2009. So like, at that point, I'm like, oh, like, it's probably opening my eyes, like, oh, that counts, you know? Like, this is allowed. This level of music is allowed too. And they give you money, you know? It was like very revealing to me.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. I do understand that feeling though. Like, I went to some. You know who Bad Bad Not Good is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I went to a show, and it's funny because I went to a show, and then it ended up that Michael Kelly was there, and so was Trevin.
Mm.
Wait, yeah, Trevin was Dylan there too? Dylan might have been there too, but
Mm.
like I didn't know that we were all gonna be there,
Yeah.
or basically I didn't know they were gonna be there. Maybe Dylan wasn't there. It might have just been Trevin and Michael Kelly. But anyways, we showed up, or we saw each other, and then we watched the show, and it ended up feeling a little bit underwhelming because it was like kind of just like mediocre-ish kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it was good, but it just felt like okay. Or I should explain. It just felt like okay, like we do this. Like what you guys are doing, we can do this. Like, have you ever felt stuff like that?
So that happened. I don't know the year or the moment, but at a certain point, especially to now, like I'm like, there's to me, and I don't know if this is just ignorance on my part at this point. Now that I've become even more aware, but I'm like, yeah, there's no difference between what I would say a majority of my friends' music and the majors. They maybe have better mix engineers, master engineers, so their shit sounds like, I don't know if
Yeah,
1%. It
like
might probably more than 1%, but it sounds better the final product. But I'm like, show me your original mix before you gave it. And some of those
yeah,
people, some of them would probably still be jamming, some of them might not. But like, yeah, like, I'm like at this point, I'm like, yo, everybody's just missing the golden touch. Like, you just need the right person to make it in whatever way it is you make it.
yeah,
Or, maybe it's just, you make beats, but so does everybody. So maybe it's just oversaturated, right? So you still need the right reason for you to pop, whatever that reason is for you. But I feel like almost everybody, like, I feel like Tomas kind of there. Like, says, it is kind of fun to joke at Sam mixes, Xylo, but like overall, he's there as too for his sound. It's like everybody's kind of there already. I'm probably, if anything, the weirder one, because I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing at this point. I'm like, I don't know. I got, because I purposely don't want to do normal shit, so I end up doing weird shit, and sometimes that weird shit is not good, but it is what it is. But like, but yeah, I feel like a majority of my friends, like, they're there. There's nothing they just need. At the same time, maybe I'm just not giving enough credit to people who have made it, but I just feel like as technology has gotten, bridged the gap, I'm like, if you just isolate it to sound, I'm like, a lot of my friends are there already. Like there might be
yeah,
whatever those other X factors are. Maybe they still don't have it, right? Because they ain't pop. But
yeah,
in terms of just the sound, I'm like, yeah. I mean, to me, it's not a lot of difference between you. Are we talking beats? I'm like, well, Duke could do most of this shit. That's possible.
yeah.
For the, I guess, more instrumental beats, I feel like Tomas is kind of there already. It's like, fuck, like they're there already. Like, so
You think so? You're saying you feel it's just missing like the well, it's probably multiple factors, but sound wise, you think it's missing that like final like mastering slash
yeah, but
mix sound that
yeah. Let's say they
like,
figured it out how to sound like, how to sound like Mike Dean mix your shit by themselves. I still don't think they would pop. Like, so,
okay,
but so I'm saying sound wise, that's the only difference. But overall, I'm like, is there? And even when it don't sound as good as the radio, like, you're only gonna notice that if you really 1-to-1 and be anal. Like, you hear some of these beats in the beat battle, and some of them, like, yeah, they're
yeah,
there already. Or you hear Willis Nillis, it's like, nah, it's there. Like, that's fine. This is it. That's final. I don't need more
mm.
done to it. Um,
Oh, you don't feel like the studio popping stuff? I feel like it does have some sort of sound that does give it. Like you're saying, if we were to hear the first mix of people releasing beats, I actually don't think they would pop off as much.
no, they for a majority of them, they won't. There's some people who, they've been in the game so long, they just learn so much that, like, it probably would. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, damn, he doesn't count. That's a bad example. I was gonna say another famous example, but that's a bad example. But like, But yeah, like I wouldn't like.
Like okay, so this is like a really so I watched some YouTube thing where it was the guy who does the mastering for Kendrick Lamar.
Remember his name?
Damn, no.
All right, don't worry about it.
It's some white guy though.
Yeah, yeah. You don't
Uh,
gotta get it. Just keep talking about
okay.
it.
Anyways, um, oh, Mike Bosby,
Yeah, yeah.
that's his name. Anyways, yeah. So I was watching the video and right, so I don't really know much about mastering. I feel like I don't even know much. I mean, I guess I understand the basics of mixing, right? But I was watching a mastering video just to see what the guy does, and it's like he barely adds anything to the mix, but when you do hear it, like there is whatever he adds, the very little he adds, like definitely like whatever he does to the vocal or to the track itself, like somehow it does liven up the track in a way that sounds so much more fulfilling versus what it was previously to the to just the like the good mix or whatever, right? Before it reached him kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's what I mean. Like uh you don't think that you're saying that you don't think that plays into it as much, like for it to pop off like that, to get that final like sort of like studio, I'm gonna just say studio sound,
I think
right?
sound wise, yes, but I don't think that's gonna make someone's career. I don't think if
Mm.
all of a sudden Tomas and friends and everybody in the beat battle figure that out, that they just, oh
Gotcha.
shit, we rich, you know? Like, I don't think nobody would pop just because like they sound that
Mm.
good. I just know. The reason why he's doing so little too is it's 2021, and when people make music now, it's very different than back then. So all these plugins that maybe wouldn't have been used until the mixers got it, they're all being used in production from the get-go. So they're all doing, in theory, less and less, you know?
Mm.
Um, so yeah, it can seem like they're not doing nothing because at this point, they all bridge the gap now, making beats. A lot of people's mixing while they make the beats already, you know? And then when you deviate from that, sometimes the producers get mad, you know? So, because you changing
Mm.
the sound, you know, and blah, blah, blah.
Gotcha.
But because yeah, like, but I still barely understand what mastering really is.
Yeah, I'll send you the video. And I mean, you might disagree with me, but there is and it could just be psychologically
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm watching the video. But when I do hear it, like I definitely hear where I'm like, oh yeah, before he masters, like, yeah, it's good. Like I would have probably not noticed, to be honest. But when you hear the side by side comparison of what he adds, it's like, oh yeah, like there's something that you're adding here that was missing, that all of a sudden now the track like feels more elevated in a way.
for sure. But do
Uh,
you think if anyone had that like here, you think they would go from zero to hero just because
I
of
don't
that?
think so. So yeah, I don't think so. But I was just wondering how much you think that takes into how much that takes into effect for tracks to pop off like in the world. But maybe the reality is that once you pop off, then everybody thinks almost everything you release
Because I mean,
at
look
that
at
point.
the stuff that I think if you look at the stuff that got him to where he was at, you know, none of it probably don't have that pristine mastering sound.
I guess you're right. That is true.
I
Yeah,
don't know
you're
if you've
right.
heard like Section 80 and the stuff before, like the Kendrick Lamar EP or LP, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Um, pretty sure it don't have that pristine mastering sound on that, you know?
No, yeah, you're right. You are right about that.
Some of the mixes on Section 80, I was like, damn, like, but I was like, you know,
Yeah, that's true. You're right. And I guess ultimately, when people get their beat picked up, most of those, like when they, right, because when it gets picked up, most of the times it's because like the artists or the producers are buying it off of them, right? And then they're gonna like do with it what they want. From what I understand, like
I mean,
basically
yeah,
to make it as a beat maker. Like you make beats and then ideally some big artist picks it up / producer picks
that's
it up.
part. Yeah, it's like one path. Yeah,
Unless you become the
the
big time
artist. Yeah,
producer
yeah, yeah.
or artist, yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, because I've watched some of those videos of like, you know, it's weird because they call them producers too, but then technically they're not the producers who did the final part.
They call who producers?
Like the ones that are making the beats, like the initial person that made the beat, and then after they sold it to like whoever the artist / producer combo.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
you're
Hip hop
right. I mean,
popularized the term producer as being beat maker, like
yeah,
kind of making them synonymous. You know.
yeah. So do you call yourself a producer?
I mean, those are things like I probably don't even think about, and maybe that's on some psychological shit. Maybe that's like a problem why I end up like directionless sometimes, you know, because I don't have an identity. I feel like a lot of the other heads in our little scenes probably more identify with that. You know, if you talk to Dan, you talk to Tomas, whoever, like I feel like they would proudly say that shit. I think I remember being younger and almost not even wanting to call myself an artist, you know, like not acknowledging, like I'm not worthy of that shit, some type of lowest self-esteem bullshit. Um, at this point, though, I feel like, and not even that this is necessarily a good thing, but I feel like at this point, like, I wouldn't even care. I ain't got time for that shit. I don't even got, but if I did care, that would probably affect my output, you know, because I would think a certain way, you know, and that would affect how I make stuff.
Maybe you should be like a call yourself a quantizer or something.
But I don't even do that. I'm really, to my detriment, I don't quantize enough. I usually quantize
Oh shit,
and
really?
and whatever my loop is, I usually quantize like, and not even all the time, by the way, but I usually quantize number one, like note one. So right, stereotype drums on all beats, usually there's a kick on the one, right? I don't always do that, but I probably 95% of the time, even for weird ass me, there's a kick on the one. So that is the thing that I might quantize, and then the rest of it I try to let it be free, you know.
Oh,
And yeah, people used to be mad at me for that because it would probably be too off. And then the last year or two, I started like tightening it up. So I still don't quantize, but I try to make it at least sound more on time for normal folk. You know, because yeah, Duke one time thing last year, he's like, "No, my son quantizing now," you know. And I was like, nah, son, I ain't doing that shit. Well, he's like, well, whatever you doing, keep doing that shit. Like, cause he knew that like it sound on beat. Normally you don't sound on beat.
gotcha.
I was like, all right, yeah, I feel you. Cause that he was right though. I was definitely being aware. Cause what I started doing is I started most of the time, and I'm trying to switch this now, by the way, I'm almost trying to put even though I'll be very anti-beat sometimes. I'm like, some of these beat battles, I'm like, yo, maybe I should actually try making beats for some of these beat battles, you know, like, because I feel like I'm never trying to actually make beats, you know. So I'm starting to actually try to do the drum things first lately. But normally I don't. Normally I do music shit first because that's the part that really interested me, you know. And then I add drums, and that's probably why they were so lackadaisical for most of my career. And that's why they were probably off the grid because I didn't give a fuck, and I thought that just made it more like me, you know, like
Yeah.
but now even when I was making stuff like that, like last year, I would solo the drums, and I was like, these have to sound like in time without the music. That way, when I
Mm.
put the music back, like the normal folk can't complain, you know,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
that's what I started doing. So I wasn't quantizing, but I guess it's like he called it Abe quantize or some shit, you know, so.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't
I
quantized
use
since I started, like the Reason days and all that shit. Like,
mm, yeah, I don't know why, but I have to quantize because sometimes when I try to play stuff, like it doesn't capture it correctly.
oh, do you
So
have
maybe it's my setting.
you probably have latency issues that you could correct,
Okay.
especially since you're not even doing real audio stuff. It's probably just a simple setting in your stuff.
Oh, okay.
Do you even
Okay.
have any like controllers or anything?
I have a keyboard that can technically be a controller, but I've been just doing keyboard stuff right
Dude,
now.
so there's no excuse. You totally shouldn't have no latency if you're just using your damn
Yeah,
keyboard.
that's what I mean. But for some reason, it's like really off. Like, I mean, you could say that maybe it's my playing, but when
Nah,
I'm
it's
playing
probably
it,
not.
sounds.
You're a fucking
It
drummer.
sounds,
You're a fucking drummer. Like, that would mean that you've been off your whole life.
but yeah, when
The
I play,
truth
like,
revealed. The truth revealed.
yeah, that's a real time. That's the real challenge there. Try to play some drums on the keyboard and let's see if you actually play in time.
So there's two
But
things, and we could probably check it off the podcast. But there's two things that it probably is. It's probably your, I want to say it's the buffer stuff. You probably have it too high. And two things. The second, probably most important thing that would definitely correct it, because, do you even have a sound card, or no? Like, or interface this shit? You know, that do you have that that?
oh no, I don't.
You don't have not even a whack one, like a garbage one, like just like a piece of
Nah,
junk.
no, it's all just through my laptop.
That would definitely help, but probably I bet you if you just change the buffer on your shit for at least when you're playing,
Okay.
that'll probably do it. It's normally in yeah, it's in your basic settings in
Yeah,
whatever
I
the
mean,
hell.
you know what it is? Like, it's sometimes like I try to play with the feel too, and then it like
With the what?
it's probably some settings, but you know how you can play stuff that's technically not exactly in time, right?
Yeah.
But it's still in
Yeah,
time.
yeah, off the grid and stuff.
But whenever like I hear it recorded played back, it's like, whoa, what's going on? Like it just sounds completely like off. Like it doesn't even sound like that weird like push and pull. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like, man, I'm not trying to mess with this right now. So I've just been like quantizing it,
Got you.
and it's still the same
That or you need to go
idea.
back to your composer roots and just write it all, you know, like plug in
Yeah,
MIDI.
yeah,
I've
that's
never
true.
gotten into that because when I started music, right, I wanted to play guitar, and the kind of all this Ableton stuff kind of happened semi by accident. But like, so I think that's why I've always been anti-MIDI. So I'm still not really good at plugging it in, but it's kind of amazing how good everybody is at plugging stuff in right now. Like everybody's real good. Like some people, especially some of the new younger ones, they don't even play shit. Like the closest they get to
Mm,
playing is your keyboard, like you just said, the typing keyboard, you know? That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So, but even a lot of drums these days, people just plug in
Yeah.
shit, you know? Like it's kind of amazing, you know?
Yeah. You know how you were talking about putting the kick on one a lot?
Yeah, yeah.
I've been noticing that I don't do that. I
Dope.
don't know why. I think I'm like not purposely doing it, but I think in my mind I'm trying to stay away from putting it on the one like right
Dope.
away.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know if
Well,
that
you do
then
some
sometimes
weirder
it
stuff
still
for the
feels off.
submissions lately. So you're not even really doing like beats in the purest sense, you know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
opens up the opportunity to not even have the kick on one because you did like some soundscape shit like last time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fucking beat science. But yeah, I bet you if you just lower the buffer, you probably, if I had to guess, if you have you even ever touched that?
Probably the first time I set it up, maybe.
If I had to guess, I bet you it's on 1024, and like that's probably what's making it. So if you would
Okay.
if you would just lower that to, hopefully you can handle 128. You probably can. You probably fine, you know. And if
Okay.
you can go lower, the better. So normally you want that number lower. I think with this computer I could probably get away with 32, but I don't do that. That's probably crazy. But normally, I think for most of us, we could get to 128. That's probably good enough. But when you playing stuff, you want to be there, and then when you're not playing stuff, I mean, I guess you could stay there, but then you could make it higher, and it just makes it easier on the computer. Because the lower that number, the more the computer works, but the more or the less latency there'll be, you know.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, that's the DAW science right there. That's the, like,
Yeah.
boom. So, do you have aspirations of being a hit maker? Quote Romeo
Mm,
Santos, hit maker.
Uh, yeah. Oh, I mean, I know. Maybe I'd be like the food beat maker.
Why go back to food? What is this with the food and beats? Like, what is the food beat
So
maker?
it's like a little
Describe what
niche
that even
market.
means. What is the food beat maker?
You know, I make beats inspired by the food that I
Mm.
see or that I'm cooking. You know, from my Instagram. But maybe I'll try to hit up these food
You
YouTubers.
can start making ads and shit. Watch you in like a
Yeah.
year, he's making ads. Like, oh my gosh. I was making like all the food beat ads. Like,
There you go, man.
this
uh,
is that you
nah, I was just joking about that. Although I was thinking out that I'd hit up a food YouTuber if I got the balls and be like, "Yo, man, let me make your beats for your show."
do it. You should. Somebody say I bet you if you ask one person a day, one food guy, I bet you they'll say yes, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask like the old grandmas that I'm watching
Do it.
videos of cooking.
Try and youngify your audience with these beats. With these.
Yeah, go.
And the first collab could be like a beat recipe, you know? Yeah.
What's that music? It's called what, drill or something like
Oh
that?
shit, make yeah. While she chopping. While she chopping
Yes.
fruit, you know, you can have the
Grandma.
drill. Most intense grandma music.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to be a hit maker, but I know making beats recently has been nice. Is the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, so where's the pivot come from? From drummer, right? Being around here, you the drummer. You go to New York,
Mm,
you was a drummer. I think you did some music. I know you won New York for not drums, you know, like. But I
yeah,
feel like you did
yeah.
some drum exploration there. Maybe I'm wrong.
Um,
But where does it transition to like, you know, I'm trying to make these beats now.
well, uh, well, first of all, in New York, I played for a church like once or twice, and it was random. Oh, it was a
Ain't amazing
Craigslist
how
post.
I got in a rubber. Ain't amazing like how just all of us eventually just end up at a church.
Yeah, so it was like some Craigslist post, and I think I had just finished that tech boot camp, and I was like, I guess I can do some drums now.
Mm.
Uh, so I played for them once or twice. Uh, it was weird. Like they wanted to like just kind of call me at random times, and it was kind of a hassle. And I mean, I wasn't that into playing for it, you know. So I
Yeah,
was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
yeah.
Um, so anyway, so that happened, and then Trevin moved up for a bit. I tried with him, then I quit, and then I stopped music altogether, pretty much.
Yeah,
But I think I had always technically wanted to. Well, what made me want to make beats? I mean, I've always said I want to make my own rap album. That's still
You know
somewhere
what? I
in
forgot
my
about
head.
that. I feel like me and you probably talked about you rapping before you making beats. If honestly, I feel like now.
Well, that's the thing is I wanted to make a rap album, but I wanted to make my own beats. Like I didn't want to rap like
Oh,
for
okay.
other people's beats. Like it was basically me wanting to make my own album.
You want to be Russ. You want to be produced, mixed, mastered, engineered by Mark. You want to be.
Yeah, yeah. Except yeah, I guess that's true, but I don't know. You know, rapping is kind of takes a skill. I don't even know if like my voice
Yo,
slash like my flow works
one of the
either.
so one of the most interesting he's interesting for a lot of reasons, but I find this interview interesting for certain reasons. But yeah, my friend put me on Vince Staples. You know that guy, right? You know? Yes, no. Vince Staples.
It sounds familiar, but I guess no.
That's fine, right? Don't matter. But like, he put me onto him not because like you gotta hear this track. He put me onto him because just interesting individuals. You know what I mean? Like, so it was more actually to hear this interview and hear how he talks. And so that's what I did. And yeah, I was like, yeah, this guy got a certain way of thinking. And to this day, like, yo, like, Vince Staples got like a song I really like. It's fucking dope. Again, you know, it's because of the beat. But like, and I know he's good, you know, I ain't like hating or nothing, but like it's because of that. But like, I still kept just hearing the interviews, and I was like a fan more of him than I really was of the music, you know, like I just fucked with him. So I was hearing, I've heard a bunch of interviews, but I was hearing one lately. He was on Drink Champs, right? That's a real good podcast for us for back in the day, who are from back in the day, because it's hosted by a guy who used to be a rapper. I guess he still is, but you know, that's not his main profession anymore. But and he's just a crazy personality, Nori. So he's a lunatic, and somehow they gave him a podcast, you know. But Vince Staples came on, right? And Vince Staples, one of them dudes, like, for me as an artist, he can be very frustrating because he's a starch reminder, like what's this art shit you talking about? Like, this is the music business, you know what I mean? So like, but he just looks at it and expresses himself in both very different and very interesting ways, you know? Like, he don't sound ignorant. No, he sound like he's very aware of what he knows, what he's doing, but it's just contrarian to a lot of what I'm used to. So he like there was this one part. This ain't what I would have wanted to bring up, but there was this one part where in this interview where he says they're talking about the album that has the beat, the main song from his I like. And he's like, I think there's 12 songs on it, and he's like, he made that album with the intention in mind to get all of it, to get every song on some type of soundtrack, you know, like whether video game, movie, whatever the hell, you know. And 10 of the 12 songs did that, you know. And he was like, because one of those payments paid for the whole budget of the album, which made me think also, like, I was like, well, why are you on a record? Because he didn't seem to. It made it seem like the record. He's like, yo, you should do a music video for this. The host is suggesting. He's like, yo, I don't like do a lot of music videos. It shits cost money, and it's not really worth the turn up, like, for YouTube plays. Like, what? You know, like, yeah. It's like, but it just made me think. I was like, man, yo, like, I believe he's on some type of record label, and I'm like, man, when I hear him describe, and maybe he's just because he's not like Kendrick and Friends, right? He's not famous enough. So, yeah, but I'm like, the way you describe being at a record, it sounds like you independent at a record label. That's what it sounds like. Like, when I hear him talk, I was like, I guess he's the other guy's struggle, right? The other guy's on the label. Like, if you ain't at Taylor Swift, if you at Taylor Swift and Drake level, it's like, oh, why would I ever be independent, right? Like, but if you're the other guys on the label, you're like, you know, they got some resources, but, you know, like I gotta be careful with some of this shit. You know, I only got 2 phone calls a month, you know, so I gotta make the right phone call. But what was I even, like, bringing that up for? Like, I remember the main reason I was bringing that up for, but why was I bringing this side tangent example for that? Otherwise, I'll just go into the main reason. I don't remember the tangent example anymore. Oh, okay, no. But yeah, this was just to illustrate, like, how different he thinks. So he was like, some people were called him, like, right, a sellout for that. Like, because the fans of maybe the real music were like, why are you doing this movie shit? You know, like, but he was like, yo, what's a fan? They're all fans. There's fans of movies, right? I want those fans of the movies. Those fans give me way more money. I don't really want these music fans. I get these fans of the movies, and then they come see my shows. It's like, this is all giving me money. He's like, this is fantastic. But these music fans give me shit, so I don't really want these music fans. And I was like, hearing that, I'm like, this is crazy. I was like, this is a musician saying I want 0 music fans, but I was like, but I want concert fans, and I want, like, it was just kind of funny. And then like he's just the type of dude to be like, you know, like, because he's a lyrical person, and like Nori would ask him like, hey man, you know, something about like good rappers, but he's always gonna counter with like, well, what's a good rapper, right? He's like because he'll name like successful stereotype people, you know. It's like, well, these guys are all successful, right? Are they good rappers, right? They're good, right? Clearly this money is here, you know, like somebody's hearing this shit, so they're good, right? So he kind of used the lens like that, and then he says some crazy shit too. This is to go back to your point about rapping. He's like, look, man, he don't even seem to consider himself a musician. It's just like, look, I rap, and this is the easiest shit to do of the whole musical craft. At its most basic, all you need to do is rhyme. As long as you can talk, you should be able to do this at some level. Like, And now, obviously, you cat in the hat. You want to be at a higher level than Dr. Seuss, if that's
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
want. But to be fair, there's a lot of people killing the game probably with cat in the hat. You know what I mean? Or you show me
yeah,
some of
yeah,
those musics all the time. So I mean, it really is just like kind of up to you.
yeah. That's true.
But yeah, no, he was saying that's why rap is also at its most popular right now.
Mm.
Because that barrier to entry is so low, right? Like whatever is good is up to you to define, but that barrier to entry is so low. That's why so many people are doing it right now. Because yeah, you should just be able. You can just start right now, and that's it.
Yeah,
Because he was like, if I wanted to play guitar right now and not sound like trash, it's probably gonna take me some time. Like you could start doing that. You could start playing guitar today,
yeah,
but it's probably, unless you like the goat, like you pick it up and you just start killing the game. Like you probably gonna sound like you're gonna hit the open string. Like what is this? You're gonna hit notes randomly and probably not gonna sound good.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know.
That's true.
But yeah, no. So you were saying like something about your voice and stuff. It's like, well, I mean, like, yeah, just do it. Like first off, it seemed like you just want to do it for you, so you should just do it. Two, like, are you even rapping or practicing rapping?
No,
Well, then, like, what you think?
I've written down like lyrics and stuff, but I've never practiced
You want to read
them.
me some bars right now?
Nah, nah. But
Do you freestyle at all or not?
I don't. I don't think I would ever be into freestyling. Uh, so maybe I shouldn't say that I want to rap. I just want to
Oh,
speak.
what's up, Asher Roman?
I want to
Yeah,
speak some poetry.
yeah. Um, these are two things I do every day. You could probably flip it for you. I learned this from Inspector Deck. The first one. So I freestyle in front of a mirror all the time. If I don't have a mirror, I'll use the phone, like fake mirror. You know what I mean, like face
Mm.
cam.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but Inspector Deck started looking at it. Inspector Deck started doing it because I think he was nervous to play live. They told him to do that, and they said because it's pretty much to get him used to rapping to in front of himself, because he's like the only audience member you gotta appease is yourself, because once you do that, it don't really matter. Um, so I feel like rapping in front of a mirror or a face cam, whatever, like basically while you see yourself, I feel like it's kind of almost like self acceptance training. Um, so even if you don't want freestyle, I would say take your writtens and maybe do it in front of a mirror. That'll probably get you
Okay.
comfortable. Another way to get to also do it is take your writtens and then not only like rhyme it on beat, but also like, I guess, like, well, what I have here, right? Like literally like hear yourself doing it while you with all this shit. I'm showing
Uh,
you all this off camera shit, but with the
yeah,
microphone,
yeah.
literally like record it so you can start to get used to it.
I see.
Um Even if you're not releasing it. Um the other thing I do is
Okay.
I try to take the word of the day and just write some stuff on that every day. But yeah, like do that. I think the mirror thing would probably help a lot in the beginning.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to do that, man, start get to working on the rap craft, dog. Wait.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like my beat craft still needs some work.
Could do both simultaneously. You're only doing
So here's the problem that I've been noticing is I don't feel my beats are beats for rapping. But maybe that's just will be my style, I guess. Like I listened to the stuff that I made for like the beat battle, right? And I even listened to
yeah.
stuff that I've made on my own. Like, now this is like stuff from like maybe 2 years back though. But I listened to that and I'm like, I don't know if any of this stuff feels like rapping beats. Like it just feels like some music thing that I'm just like kind of vibing with. but
I mean, you know,
it
I'm
doesn't.
gonna play the Vince Staples card. But what is rapping, right?
What is
Like
rap?
what is rapping beats, right? Because I mean, me coming from
True.
the era I came from, right, took me a while to accept what's going on now, you know. But I mean,
Yeah.
clearly this semi no rules, right? You know, and
Yeah,
yo,
you're right.
look at some of the shit. Look at some of the rapping. Have you heard of like I don't know 654 AR or whatever the fuck? I'll probably butchering that like horribly, but he raps like a chipmunk. It's like
Oh,
you know what I'm talking
the
about? That dude.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, no, everything counts right now.
The
Every
something like that, right?
do you, what?
It's the thing with a really high pitch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
see
Okay.
these videos, and he looks serious as fuck. You know,
Yeah.
like he ain't like it's not like a meme. Like I mean, like there's numbers on his shit. You know, like it
Yeah.
ain't Drake numbers on, but some it's numbers enough that you know he's gonna keep making music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, he said this dude in the chat, Asaromi said you mentioned George Watsky. I
Wait,
don't even
what?
remember that. Yeah, I was like, maybe I'm tripping. It was a rapper who does spoken word. He said.
Oh, I didn't mention, but I guess I was just saying I just want to speak poetry.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, gotcha. There's a famous spoken word rapper who I can't remember. And he's done some things. I don't really listen to him, but like, let me see it. Let me see if I can find him real quick. Otherwise, word rapper. Man, but they're giving me actual rappers. Google's failing me right now. like, I was hoping for people who actually primarily do spoken word rap. Because I'm like, yo, the first example Google gave me was Tupac. And I was like, stop it. Stop it. I was like, stop it. It's like Tupac, Mos Def, Snoop Dogg. That's not what I was. But yeah, he said you mentioned spoken word before, so I guess that was an example for you to check out. George Watsky.
George Watsky. Okay.
Yeah, WAT Sky. One word.
Gotcha.
Piff Marty is another one. PIFFMARTI.
Okay.
So yeah. You gonna
Okay, yeah,
so when you gonna start your rap career?
I guess on October 17th.
Is that for real? Why was that? Wow.
I mean, I think right now mentally I'm more in like let me try to figure out this beat stuff. And then although I was on the train today and then I was like thinking of some stuff and I was like, oh maybe that'd be an interesting line to say.
See, you should have wrote it. You should have wrote it in man, that's not legible at all. You should have wrote it in like I do a lot of this stuff in my phone. You should have wrote it in your phone is what I'm trying to say. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I actually did write on my old phone, so I'd have to see because I think it broke. But you're right. I should be writing down stuff and
Yeah.
maybe just trying to commit to it. But you know, yes. So it's weird because I feel like I was okay when I used to record my voice like singing. But
Yeah.
then when I think was one time where I tried to record myself. This is a long time ago though. Where I was trying to record myself like rapping, and I was just like, man, this sounds cheesy.
Mm.
Like it just didn't feel right. But I guess you're right. Like I have to do it. The reality is I have to do it, right? When I sang, I remember the first time that I sang, it was weird, but I just kept doing it to
Yes.
where I
So
got
look,
comfortable
you have
with it.
yourself as example. You don't even need external example.
Yeah.
You already have it already.
Yeah.
But I was gonna
That's
say
true.
this, like this is long before I don't know if podcasts were even being done at this point. But I remember I recorded a few phone conversations with me and Phil, but like on I think it's probably the iPod era because I had a fake iPod. I had an H320 made by iRiver, right? Look at that name, iRip. like, but I always was contrarian, man. I never once owned any. My first Apple product is that 2014 laptop. I just didn't want any of this shit. But I think I recorded it there, and I heard my voice for the first time, and I was like, "Yo, what the fuck is this guy? Like, who is this guy?" I thought I sounded like I didn't know I had my New York accent. I know people said that shit at the time, you know, especially back then, because I'm closer to still being from New York and not now, where it's not now. I've been here so long, so now I probably have this kind of neutral hybrid accent, you know, like.
Yeah.
But I heard my voice and I was like, yo, I sound mad ignorant. I was like, I would never trust this guy with anything. I was like, I heard me talking and I was like, I wouldn't hire me either. I get it now. And maybe the same thing. I don't know. By that time, I'm doing music. So I don't know if I ever felt it for the podcast, because by that time, I'm doing so much music that I probably overcame it with music, you know, but maybe the first couple of times, like, if anything, the first few podcasts. But after probably the first 5, you get used to it. I'm just doing it so much. I don't even notice my voice. I think with rapping and singing, I still sometimes critique it, you know, but now, and it's fun. I'm trying to do this for everything. I feel like I do it pretty decent with fighting games right now, but I'm trying to do it with everything, and I'm slowly starting to do it with music. But it is this weird thing where I think you always hear about it described by a lot of the greats. I think for me, the one that always comes to mind is Daigo, which is one of the best Street Fighter players ever. But he talked about this crazy thing, like, and it's weirder in Street Fighter than it is music, because there is an outcome in Street Fighter, right? You want to win, you don't want to lose, right? That's never the goal. So,
yeah.
But he is talking about, at this point, I'm reading his book, and he's like, he plays and he just kind of focuses more on expressing himself and less attachment to outcome. And I feel like I'm kind of, this year, like, for like lately, I've been really good at that. Like, I could play way more and not worry about the outcome. And ironically, I feel like I've been winning more than I ever usually do, you know, like in fighting games. And I'm trying to get that way with the music. And with music, it's a little weird, right? Because you're making it and you're trying to do good stuff, but at the same time, also not letting that hold me back, like not fully attached to it. And
yeah.
I feel like when it comes to our voices, though, we kind of got to get to that level, so that you can still be brave enough to try shit, whatever it is, but also, like, yeah, you don't not try it because you think you suck or whatever. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's I don't know what it is, where I feel the singing was easier than when I've tried the rapping thing, because I tried it a few times. Like I said, it was a long time ago. Like, I did this when we still had the studio in downtown UTSA. Like, I
Damn.
remember I had tried to do some stuff while I was there late at 12 in the morning, like working on something, and then I was like, oh, let me try to rap over this really quick.
Man.
But something about singing feels a little different. And it could just be because there's more melody to it. So I guess it could be because in my mind, I've always kind of just linked singers. But that's not true, because I do the same thing with rappers too, though. So I'm not, it's weird. So I want to make a rap album, but I'm also not a big, like, lyric person.
Yeah.
Like, I can really listen to a song over on repeat and not even know what the person's
I've seen some
singing.
of the songs you send me, dog. Like, they're usually pop songs. These at this point, you know.
Yeah, and dude, it's like even when I was in like my rock, like, hardcore days and stuff, even those songs, like, I would play them on repeat, and like I still wouldn't even know the lyrics, because a lot of the times my mind is just like incorporating that
They're
part
another
as
instrument.
an instrument. Exactly. Like, I'm not hearing it for what they're saying exactly. And it goes with, like I said, it actually goes with rappers too. Like, it most of the times I'm going off of the timbre of the person's voice, and like how, or their flow too. But a lot of the times I say it's the way that the timbre of their voice sounds too. But Yeah, I don't know because I've tried to do YouTube stuff too, and when I record myself too, I'm like, man, fuck this, and I just delete the video because I'm just like, I watch it and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to watch myself like talking.
That is the same thing. You gotta get used to yourself. Yeah,
Should be my
I don't know.
YouTube channel of me just trying to become a rapper.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? Do it, man.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. Oh, but anyways, by the way, I bookmarked for that person that commented. I created a bookmark folder called Rap Album and put those two guys in there that I'll
There,
check out later.
there you go, Ash. He's gonna check it. But yeah, now I gotta hear yeah, I gotta see I gotta keep bothering you like maybe every once in a while to see how that rap album's going.
The Rap Out,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I mean, I don't know when I would be ready for that. I think right now I do feel more invested in doing the beats thing
Mm.
of just trying to get more into that. I think it's also, you did ask me earlier, and I feel like maybe I sort of answered, but not truly answered. Like, I think it's just nice to be able to create music and not really have to have the difficulties of finding instruments and stuff. Like, right, like I'm not really having to play the piano. I'm not really having to play the drums.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
really having to go
The
find
today
all these
age.
sounds. It'd
Like
be cool though to do that. Like I told you with like Residente's album, where
mm,
it's like all world like percussion music, or even that new song that Jay-Z slash Beyonce slash what is it, Gambino, or I guess he's going by Donald Glover now. Dropped,
I don't think I've
where
heard
it's like,
that.
what, I sent it to you like a while back,
That so
not a
wait, that
while
was
back.
new. I just assumed that was on their album. I heard it, but I just assumed there was another song off their album. I didn't realize that was a new
Was
song.
it? I thought it was a new one, unless it was just a video that was new and it was an
Oh,
old song.
yo, maybe that was new, and I had no idea that that was new. But
Oh, okay.
I feel like Jay Z. Maybe I don't know if Beyonce would ever cross my radar, but I feel like if Jay Z does something, I'd like to think I would find out somehow by somebody. So,
Mm.
because I do remember like Jay Z and Beyonce did an album a few somethings ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but I didn't realize they did more new stuff this year. Cause yeah, I feel like that was only a month ago you sent me that or two, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean the video came out 3 weeks ago.
oh shit, that's new. Send it to me again. Then now I'm like curious.
Okay.
That's interesting.
In the Discord chat or in the
It don't matter.
Okay.
Don't put it in the Twitch chat just cause that I won't save that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
that won't save. You know.
But yeah.
Yo, you
Oh,
gotta rap
but
on one of your
anyways.
beats. Yo, technically, Asher Romi's even been in the beat battle once. Cause he
Oh,
was on a
okay.
Willis Nillis track. It was the Green Ranger sample. I don't know if you did that beat battle or not. The Green Ranger sample was the flute. Dun, 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 dun,
Uh,
dun, 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 dun.
no, I don't think so.
So yeah, like he was on. I think he was verse 2 or
Oh,
not. It was
nice.
kind of eerie how they both have similar voice, but their topics were completely different. But yeah, man. So you gotta get to her. And now look, I rapped on here too.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, man. You gotta get on this. Start doing some stuff. You know,
Yeah.
ain't that hard, man. Ain't that hard. I think so. Like I think I used to. You was talking about how you listen to this stuff. So growing up, I definitely heard lyrics first, right? East Coast mentality, like f you if you ain't dope on the mic. I ain't care, and I don't start making music till 2009, so I'm not even like thinking about music like that. But that's why
Mm.
my love for Jay-Z was kind of interesting because I think when Rock La Familia era starts, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? And he kind of lost me, and I ain't really come back till the Black album, you know. Um, and then after that, I guess I'm a fan again, but I kind of pick and choose. But at that time, especially, I was like, "Yo, man, if you're not nice on the bars," I was like, "Why am I even hearing you? Because you ain't even making the music, you know."
Yeah.
Versus more like now, like it's more common for them to be more involved now. You know, it wasn't always common back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, I'm more like they're just another instrument now, and I still hear a few lyricists, but yeah, they're more tethered because I used to like them back in the day, and but I'm not sure how many like new lyricists make my way. I know like Griselda's known for lyrics, so I am a big Benny the Butcher fan. Um, Overall, I guess I like all Griselda, but I really fuck with Benny the Butcher. But I feel like a lot of why I fuck with him, similar to what I said about Vince Staples, like I just kind of fuck with him. Like I'm a fan of Benny, so he put out something, I'm probably always gonna hear it. You know, like just cause I like Benny a lot. You know. Um, But yeah, but Benny's more a street lyricist anyway, so he has a different like thing. He's not necessarily gonna be like Royce the 5'9", and he's not gonna write an essay of the most complex nature like Lupe. You know, he's gonna do high lyrics, but for street culture. You know, like so that type of thing. You know, like
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
like, but
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. Uh.
but it all counts now, man. You know, it does. You can be as weird as fuck. You know, we mentioned the chipmunk. You know, there's the joke of emo rap, but I mean, even right now, like Willis is giving me so many songs to play at the end of these beat battles. But yeah, like he's had some emo songs here and there. I rapped on one that will never come out with him. It looks like, you know, like, cause so yeah,
Was that the one with the toilet sounds in it?
yeah, it is the one with the toilet.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So I
Nice.
mean, yeah, man. I don't know, just do it. I too want to do more stuff. I just I don't know. I think I let other stuff get in the way of me. So my thing is less me being afraid of rapping and more like I don't know. I just don't make time for it. And I kind of let maybe the pressures of other parts of my life interfere. Also, this room, as you can see, has nothing, and it really sucks. So when I grab this mic, will it come? Will it come? Not really. But when I grab this mic and try to rap into it, it just sounds hideous. So I gotta put a damn cover over me. And let me tell you, it kind of ruins the mood. It makes it less fun when I put that shit on. It's not. It's less of a buzzkill. It does sound perfect when I go in the closet, but man, when I go in the closet, that kind of drained the mood because I would have to reset up my laptop there and like, you know, like I guess if you have that dedicated mentality, but we can just want to have fun and create. I kind of that's why I wanted the mic here, and I have it here, man. But I swear I be fighting this shit because I put this cover here, now I'm blocking the keyboard, so now I'm trying to do this. I can't see, so now I'm like this. Or if I'm rapping, the fucking cover is hitting the microphone thing, so now you can kind of hear that. But luckily, to be fair, like now I notice like with the music playing, you don't hear the cover, so it probably doesn't matter. But it would just be more comfortable if I could just hit record and rap and not have to wear a fucking bed sheet over my head. Cause yeah, the reverb in here is serious in this room, yo. It's ridiculous. Like I bought and returned everybody's favorite podcast mic, the SM7B, because you can still hear it on that. But I was just tempted to see if it would work. But I mean that's a what is this, 57? Not that it's the same mic, but it's the same mic in terms of what they do. You know, like so. Yeah. But yeah, man, start rapping.
Yeah.
When's the release date for song 1? Just song 1.
With the rap song?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What you want to rap about? What you want to rap about?
That's what I don't know either. I go off of like wanting to be okay. So here's the thing: is I don't know why I've never been a big lyrics person because I used to write like poetry when I was in high school, I would be like writing poetry during my classes and stuff.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I never connected that over to music.
Mm.
So there's moments where I want to rap poetically or whatever,
Yeah.
like just go off of that. But then there's other moments where I'm like, man, maybe I just want to rap about fun stuff, like be more like.
You could do both. You could do that.
I guess I could, but
The easy way, I think, for the normal person who when I say normal, I mean like now that everybody raps, it's probably just journal stuff. Here's what I'm going through
yeah,
now. You know, like I think that's kind of how I started when I was doing that whole Instagram stuff. You know,
mhm,
where I would just write for every picture. Um, Now I'm probably still always doing that, but now like in the effort to be like quote unquote lyrical, I do try to force like I guess metaphors would be the thing. So I like I'm falling, whatever. Like yeah, like I'm falling off the bridge, right? Like trucking Inception or some shit. Just always trying to like point at something. Because then I
mhm,
feel like, all right, now I'm a rapper, from my time, now I'm like satisfying young Abe, like versus just saying like how I feel. Because normally I would just say how I feel and rhyme when I first started. But now if I say how I feel, I'm feeling great, like Michael Jordan in the air. Like now it's dope, now it can.
yeah. I get what
So
you mean.
yeah. So but then so to be fair, so what's interesting? Like I'm not now like maybe to a detriment, but at this point I don't really care to share anything with anybody. Like that's not to say I don't want to put it out. I like putting out everything. But what I mean is I don't care to yo Tomas, I made a new song. Yo Mark, I made a new song. But what I really like doing is like when I rap on something and I like sharing it to my friends who also rap.
Mm,
Because I feel like they the ones who give me some interesting criticism. So I remember one time I shared something with one friend who raps, and he's like yeah, one day you're gonna get into the syllable stuff. I still haven't, but that's some intricate shit. Where now you're rhyming like words with three with other words with three, and like stuff like that. And I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to that on purpose because I do kind of do more flow of stream of conscious, like.
mhm,
But but I do like to hear what they think because I know they take it more seriously. And like some of those dudes still don't make music to this day. They just rap and that's it. Like
yeah,
so so it is fun to kind of like try in terms of musical endeavors that involve me showing stuff to other people and what they think. That's probably the only one that's that I even care about. And that might just tie to again like just hearing rap how I heard rap when I grew up. So
yeah, yeah. Man, I've watched some stuff where they break down the lyrics,
yeah.
and do you really think
You
like
mean
all
like
these lyrics,
Genius? You mean Genius? Those
Genius, and I think
videos?
a few other stuff, yeah, but not the ones from Popular. I think it might have been something else than Genius actually, but I've watched those too. But there was one where like it was really, I don't even know who it was anymore to be honest, but they were like really breaking down these lines that were like having so many meanings.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, like these people that are writing this really like went that deep, and it's like the metaphor went that far. Like
Some
I
of them are
didn't realize
killers,
like
dude. Probably in the modern day, some of the modern day most of the modern day killers right now, like it's kind of amazing that it worked out like this. None of them are rappers. Like without going into poetry, and now I'm just keeping it at rappers, like.
Mhm.
But what I mean about they're not rappers is they're not music rappers. They're battle rappers. Like battle rap kind of evolved into something completely different than when I was young. like when I was young, it was more about freestyling and being in dope. And now, like, it's kind of disrespectful if you show up in freestyle, and you're probably just gonna lose because everybody's is semi like wrestling. Not that it's fake, but it's semi like wrestling. Like, who you gonna fight, and they try to build it up and blah 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 and do all that beef. But like, yeah, I feel like the stereotypical one will have like you write three verses, I write three verses, but in preparation for those three verses, maybe I called up your ex-girlfriend or I called up this person or like people from your life, like, yo, what kind of dirt? And depending on how much they like you, they actually give you the dirt. But then like depending on how nice the person, and they say that it's not just about saying that dirt, right? When Pusha T fought Drake, no one was really impressed by his lyrics. It was more what he said. No offense, Pusha T, because he is nice, but that's really why that song hit. Like, oh, the baby stuff, not really because you see the way he said the baby stuff, But some of these battle rappers, man, like, because that's all they do. Yo, they like. My friend always quotes this word. I don't know if it's loaded lux, but he always quotes this line, and he dissed somebody where the whole there was something to do with a rock that he used rock, but the whole entire paragraph of him dissing him, almost every bar relates in some way to rock and geological composition, and it's kind of just ridiculous, like
Yeah.
yeah, and there'll be like double and triple entendres, and it's like most song rappers can't do this shit, like they not even, that's not to say they couldn't if they tried and worked on it, but like that's just not their default. You know what I mean? Like that, like they're working on lyrical things. Even the lyrical guys that I either, especially if I grew up on, because it evolved, but like that are still active today, it's like because they're making songs, they don't even necessarily have to go that hard, So the stuff going on in battle rap is pretty intense in terms of lyrical. That's probably the most lyrical rappers right now are the battle rappers. Outside of people like who maybe just do like just crazy shit, like because I'm sure like even though Lupe don't battle rap, he does other challenges that involve test of rapping. And Lupe's somebody that I was never really a big fan of, but I've been made aware like, oh yeah, no, this guy's like kind of a goat of rap too, like in terms of lyrical nonsense. He also does lots of insanity. And you know who's the forgotten one? Because one, I just feel like in terms of the narrative, he's just drifted away from hip hop. But two, a lot of people, he's white and he's not Eminem, so there's only room for one white rapper in the story, If you want to hear some crazy shit, aSop Rock, man, that's another one. I don't know if you know that dude or not, but like that's another one that if you analyze his lines, like it'll probably be like 3 and 4 meanings, like some depending on how ridiculous he's in it. And at this point, he's done it too much that like, yeah, he's doing it on purpose. That or he's just the luckiest motherfucker on earth, Because one thing to do it for one song, but when you got like discography of just doing that shit, yeah, like I don't know what a lot of aSop Rock songs are like. I just happen to like his flow, and he was in the right underground scene and with the right people at the right time. That I was like, he just resonated with me, but I've tried here and there, and I've heard enough like real people like also confirm what I was thinking, like, oh yeah, this dude is probably the GOAT no one will ever talk about, because it's so coded that like it's just gonna go over more people's heads. But it's the same thing, right? Like for the music, and it's the same thing like when we talk about it like musically, right? Whether like Dream Theater and all those like overly complicated metal bright bands and instrumental and even some jazz ones, right? It's so maybe overly complicated that it's gonna go over most people's heads there too, like for the sake of music, So you kind of need to be into that shit to even appreciate it at some level, So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. But just make shit, dude. Just like it's going back to Vince Staples. It all counts, no matter how ridiculous. You don't even gotta be on beat. That still counts, man.
Well, then that was my point. Then I should stick with the food beats.
Yeah, but you seem to want to rap more than you want to make beats. So I mean, like you should do that. You don't have to stick with just one. You can do both. You should stick with food rap and beats. That's what you need. Like, rapping on food beats.
There we go.
You're never in any of the music videos. It's always some type of food being made, They're all cooking videos.
Yeah. Oh, I was actually gonna say that when you make your first video, you gotta get some shots of you in the studio with the like the blanket on your head.
I wanted to do.
They gotta be nice, like artsy shots and stuff.
I wanted to do a video. It never happened. It was like the COVID era was new, and yeah, at this point, I mean, it would be more like I don't. I guess it could still happen, but you know, the passion's the moment's gone already because it's not new anymore. But I wanted to do. There's a song I got called "Back in SA."
Oh, okay.
It's when I moved back here, and I wanted to. It has Xylo in it. I wanted to do a video with me and him. I just thought it's just basic shit. I always joke the stereotype, like rap video, is you just perform the song in front of the camera in 4 different locations. And I'm like, at my budget, I'm like, I should do that for every song. I was like pick a different Walmart each time. We pick a different house each time. You know, we pick a parking lot each time, different parking lot each time. And then a rooftop each time. Like, that's it. Like, we just music video, boom. You know,
that's true, man.
Yeah. So I want to do it here. I'm gonna read in terms of Abe complexity. This is like a year old too, so I'd like to think I'm capable of older stuff. But I just thought about this. The last song I actually released, you know, not beat battle stuff, but the last song I actually released. It's called "To Be Alive." I think it was 2 Junes ago now at this point. So June 2020. Oh man, hold on, the stretch took over. But the last song, that song, I like that song. I'm a fan of that one. But like that one had a bar in there. Like this is what I'm saying. Like even in the beat battle rhyme I did 2 weeks ago, I was like, there was like baby bars in there. In the sense that, like, you know, if you know, it's kind of cool, but if not, like, it's probably gonna go over most people's heads, even my lyrical friends' heads, because I don't remember which kind of rapper I picked this up from, but there was somebody I was hearing, and I was like, oh, at a certain point, because the world's so big now, it isn't like in '96 when you want to make your metaphors so everybody knew what you was talking about. Now, like, there's so many niches, it seemed like you could just do it for yourself. Like, so you can make it complex and it doesn't, no one's going to know it's complex because they just don't know. And because I heard whatever he did and I was like, no one's going to know that shit. I was like, so, but it's dope if you know it. So at that point I was like, yeah, I should just talk about whatever I'm into then. Right. And so this song called "To Be Alive." So it may, I'd have to read the whole thing again. Like to really know if it's even about to being alive, you know, But it's regardless of that, right? There's a part in here that I thought was like it's one of the few times I wrote something I was like, oh, that's hard, right? So like, but when you hear it, you probably just think that that's cute. But when I explain it, it's like, so I'm gonna just start here early, but it starts around here. So yet looking forward to the paths unraveled, to the sky endlessly I babble. On like Ralph Garman, shooting for a title, James wishing had the quirk to harden myself like Red Riot. Did anything happen there that was dope? Nothing, right? It's nothing dope there, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Right? So that's what I'm saying. But like in terms of like metaphors, like it was pretty dope, right? So to the sky endlessly I babble. On like Ralph Garman, right? So Ralph Garman hosts a podcast called Babylon, right? Hollywood Babylon with Kevin Smith, right? So that shit, that was one of my favorite podcasts at the time, right?
Okay.
And then after that, I say shooting for a title, James wishing had the quirk to harden. So James Harden, right, shoots a lot, a fuck ton, for better or worse, right? That's the gift and the curse of his career, James Harden. But in the middle, right, shooting for a title, wishing had the quirk to harden, right? Myself like Red Riot. Red Riot is from an anime, My Hero Academia, and his quirk, right? A quirk is their superpowers in that anime. His quirks are superpowers in the anime, and what's the name of his quirk? Harden. You know? Hardening. That's it. You see? So that shit was dope for me, but I was like, I know no one's gonna get this, right? I was like that's probably my favorite bar of stuff that's out, you know?
Yeah, dude, that's exactly how the bar was. The thing is, I don't remember what video I watched, but what you just did was what happened with that other bar, where it was like I listened to the bar at first, and I
Nothing,
maybe
right? It was
caught a
nothing.
little bit.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't nothing. Like you got I got the top level like meaning of it, right?
Yeah.
But then it like had like what basically what you just did, where like there was so many little stuff to it, and I'm like, wait, what? Like this was all in that? Like wait.
So that is fun. I think that just comes at a certain point. You do it so much, and you start aiming. Like it kind of hybrid. Cause yeah, like I don't know how much I really had to think about that. I don't know if I sat here for like 5 minutes, like, damn, what's the next line? What's the like I bet you I probably wrote it like in free form, and maybe like kind of like force something here or there. But I bet you it probably wasn't too long. Like I just got into flow and just probably did it. But I'm pretty sure like that only came because I was doing it so much already. That's why it came out that quick in the first place.
Did you reference Hero Academia anywhere in that song?
I doubt it. No.
Okay.
So you just
But
needed.
then if you would have made it more obvious, it probably would have killed the magic to the line itself, right? Like,
maybe, but I bet you can reference it in a trippy way too. You know what I mean? Like there's always a way. The other thing I did here, right, in this song that I found funny, at the end of it, I end every verse with, enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. This is what it's like to be alive. And that's the chorus. I just say that forever. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. So I'm hearing Scarface talk, right, on Drink Champ, same podcast. Scarface, right, from the Ghetto Boys, and just being famous as a Texas rapper forever. Like, I guess not.
yeah.
You do?
I feel like I do and I don't.
Yeah,
I'm always searching.
He's a famous rapper, like further south though. It's totally realistic to live your life and never hear about Scarface if you're not from the south. But you live here. You live in Texas, so should be semi less realistic for you. I didn't live in Texas during the Ghetto Boys prime, so I don't know. And I knew about this guy.
Okay, so yeah, honestly, I don't think I've ever.
That's fine. It don't matter.
Okay.
But
anyway.
he did a song called "Smile" with Tupac. And he's telling a story about that, and he recorded it while Tupac was alive, but it came out after he died. And he's telling that story, and they're writing their lyrics. Tupac's write his lyrics, and he moves on, and he's mad pissed at Scarface because he's like, "Yo, what the fuck is this? Yo, it's 2 hours, you ain't finished your verse yet. What the fuck?" And he, so he leaves and he comes back, and it's like a few more hours, and he's still not finished, and he's like, damn it, yo, like finish this shit, yo, we gotta move on, and then he starts telling him like how to make songs, right? And I've heard some of this already because it's the basic Tupac for it. He's like, look, man, you make your songs for the girls, right? I think he probably said bitches, right? But he said you make your songs for the girls, right? You're like, oh, okay, no, this is what he said. He said you write down what you feeling, right? But you tailor it to the girls, right? The guys are gonna like it because they like girls, right? So boom, now you got both of them, right? And then at the end of the song, the last line you say, that's the chorus. And I made the song before that, but I was looking at my shit and I was like, oh shit! It's like he's right. I was like, Tupac know the formula. I didn't even notice that. I was like, you said, but then he's saying like, so that's how Smile happened, because I ended the verse with Smile, and then now we just say Smile a lot in the chorus. So it's like, but like Tupac's whole philosophy was like, yo, just make a verse real quick, make a chorus real quick. Obviously, just take the last sentence, right? That's your chorus, and then let the mix engineer do the rest. Like he's like, he ain't trying to be a part of that, because he was trying. That's how he banged them out, because he really was like, yo, make songs, move on, make songs, move on, make songs, move on, make songs, move on, And that's how you get for both better and worse, right? That's how you get the Tupac discography, right? To varying degrees, And in all fairness, like the stuff we end up hearing wasn't necessarily intended to come out, right? We only hear it because he died, But yeah, he was very much like let everybody else kind of do they work. He's like, that's why we pay the engineers first. Like, why are we spending 5 hours trying to get the perfect kit? Fuck out of here, you know. He's like, especially from his perspective, 'cause he's like, look, I'm a rapper, I'm a rap. Yeah, he would just like just write shit and then move on, you know, write shit and move on. So I don't know, but just stuff like that I think is it's really helpful in the beginning though, like because write shit, move on. Like it's easier said than done because right, you care about trying to be dope and good in the beginning. I have more of those problems right now for when I brought up the guitar stuff, like yesterday when I'm asking you about that, like because when I try these things, right, I'm trash at them, you know, so it becomes demoralizing to keep going on the path. But I asked Tomas, same thing I asked you yesterday, and I figure like he might be better because he's a guitar major at the time and in school, you know, and he gave me stuff like what he told me to do was basically like to sum it all up. What he told me to do is the thing that I kind of really haven't done since I picked up guitar. He just told me like whatever these people you want to sound like, right? Just analyze the song basically. He was like, well, if you're picking these people, then you probably maybe pick for like a bar or two. like don't take the song. That'll probably like break your spirit. But like, you know, just pick a section, small section, and then analyze it and kind of like really figure out what's going on. And I haven't really like learned songs since I started playing guitar, and most of the songs I ended up learning was like video game music and melodies and stuff. I didn't really like learn stuff, so it's just like it pretty much telling you got to kind of rebuild it from square one, because as you start learning these things, like they'll kind of start making more sense to you, and you'll figure out how to do it from there, you know, and what more you need and whatnot. But basically, the things you want to do, start learning the song specifically, and it'll make more sense. And then, you know, he gave more advice after that, but essentially that was it. And it's like, damn, you know. Or I think I told you I bought the aLr course like earlier this year, and I kind of forgot about it. I kind of drifted away because it got to a certain point where it was just like this some hard shit. But again, the stuff that Tomas was telling me to do was basically what the aLr course would give me, because I was like, oh yeah, you pretty much just gotta bite the bullet, I guess, in the beginning, and at some point it won't be annoying and stupid, you know, like, but yeah, like, so I'm gonna try to put that back in my routine, the aLr course, but I'm gonna also have to do it in a way where it doesn't make me want to stop doing it, you know. So
yeah, man, I know from our conversation, like, it was true that I think coming from a drum standpoint, it's kind of different. But I listened to that jam track that you sent me.
yeah,
and even the guitar stuff didn't sound so like out there to me.
yeah,
It almost sounded like the guy was just playing stuff that he could play. Like, it's weird because it sounds like I'm like diminishing what
them,
he
yeah.
can do, but essentially, like, to me, when I listen to that track, it just sounds like people are playing what they can play.
Yeah, they're just jamming.
And
So
they're
like,
not like, like, it's not.
it really
takes
is a
skill,
jam.
and you do
That
have to
isn't even a
practice.
song. That is a jam. But I want to be able to like if I had to do that, I would like even just for me and overdubbing, like I would like to just infinitely solo, but not have it sound like I'm just redundantly playing scales. You know, like so I'm like that's why I'm saying, like, I don't even necessarily need to get their chops, because I don't know if I got 8 hours in me a day like they did when they were young, you know. But like at the basic level, right, even the blues player could infinitely solo forever, and he's not doing what they do, but he could still do that and have it sound musical, you know. So I'm like, man, like, what do I need to do to at the very least just do my own version of that, you know? Because I think that would be fun, like, because I feel like that's what I kind of, that's I don't know, that's just, I feel like some of the stuff I wanted to do in music, because like I ended up going down this electronic path, I don't feel like I ever did it, and that's why it's always been like kind of weird output from me, in the sense like sporadic sporadic spurts of like, here's a bunch of effort, and then not giving a damn, and then here's a bunch of effort, and like, because there probably is something there, but it's probably what I'm doing is not necessarily what I want to be doing, you know. Even though, so there is probably a love of music there, but maybe this version of it isn't it. So like, and I noticed the things that made me want to play music. I'm like, well, I never even did those things. So like, I never even came close. And being pretty fair, who comes close to those? Not many, right? Not many who wanted to be Dream Theater people ever say it. But it's like I haven't even come close in like doing the baby of that. You know, like doing rock songs of that shit. You know what I mean? And that ain't that hard. You know, like so.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I definitely would like to get guitar at a certain level, because I just feel like I do, like, I understand, especially now more than ever in 2021, where people definitely use like music to make it, like, and you know, it's probably more realistic, even though, right, it's not normal to think that, like, that it's realistic to make it in music, blah blah blah, like, lottery and all that bullshit. But honestly, I would say it's probably more realistic now than when we started to make it in music. And specifically, I'm talking about beat stuff, you know. So it is gonna sound like I'm diminishing it, but like, literally, like, right, if you think of it as an ends to a mean, right, and you're trying to make high quality product, you know,
Yeah.
like, dude, the power is there, right? Right, bro, there's more plugins than ever, but I've been specifically like, yo, man, like let's say, like, right, like in your case, you're like, yo, I really want to rap, but I want some dope beats, but you know, I want to make the beats. Like, you could like literally change your mindset tomorrow and be like, all right, well, I believe you do have Splice, so you could just literally make some dope sounding shit right now off Splice, probably in like, you know, several 5 to 10 minute attempts.
Hmm.
And you know, like, from an ends to a means perspective, you know, like, you could just make that shit happen, you know. And to this day, I still haven't even like tried Splice. So like, I know it would improve my sound, just like when I played with Arcade. Like, all right, like, I can see why this is dope. But also, when I played with Arcade, there was times where I was like, yo, I got a dope sounding beat, but I ain't really enjoy making this dope sounding beat, because it's like, even though I may suck at guitar, I like playing it, you know, like, and the same thing, like, I kind of wish right now, the only thing missing from my current setup, I wish I had room to put my MIDI keyboard, because I kind of really want to play keys again, you know, versus I use the push right now, and that's cool, but it's not a piano, you know. Yeah, like, even though those are kind of more, if we think about it from an ends to a mean, right, it'd probably be better for me to plug in like the MIDI notes, you know, and program it, right? You get some tighter shit, you know, especially if I got it to a point where I knew what I was doing, like, so now I know, like just note wise, I know, so at least maybe the music theory of my head is smarter, improving, you know, like, but I really kind of enjoy, there's something to playing it, you know, versus dragging the kick drum. And I just for me, I don't mean like anybody, but like, I kind of enjoy that, like, more than anything, because I don't know, I think I like the flow of doing the thing, you know. So I would like to maybe just get better at those things now, you know. At the playing of those items, you know.
Yeah.
Versus the instrument. When I was talking to the bass player of Neon Indian, you know, he was like, man, you just, you know, the guitar thing in terms, and you know, because he's a session guy, so he's like, the guitar thing be harder, become a session guitarist, you know. But he was like, man, you just learn these 5 things on bass, you get phone calls right away. Like, but it's like, I know, but like, for my music, that's probably mainly for me. Like, I feel like I probably need to do the guitar shit, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know, the creative struggle, dog.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's ultimately just always a matter of time thing.
Yeah.
And desire of whether you want to spend the time, because I do think like the levels that you're talking about don't feel like they're that hard to achieve in a sense. Like,
I don't believe
and
they
like I
are.
was
I just
saying,
don't necessarily. I wish I had a Mac. You know, like the way like I don't think I told you about the knees over toes guy, but I'm doing some workouts now that I believe are gonna change my legs dramatically to the point that I honestly believe I might come back to basketball this year. And I've retired
Oh
from
wow.
basketball because just leg pain and stuff when I play. But
Yeah.
I started like I heard this guy speak earlier this year, and then I checked out his stuff, and I was like, oh shit, I think there's something to this stuff. I tried some of these exercises, but I was like, you know what? I paid money for the program. And basically, like, you know, if you kind of peruse his YouTube, I'm like, all of the information is there for free, but when you pay him, you do kind of get as simple as it is, like, yo, well, here's this map, just
Mm.
follow this. I wish I had a map of like, yo, if you just learn these things, then I could do what I want to do for guitar. But I think I probably need to work initially to even shine enough light on what is certain things in music, so I know, oh, okay, if I learn these things, then I can make me. So I probably need to make the map myself, and I think I'll let that kind of put it off. Like I let that
Mm.
because I don't even have the map right now. You know, like even hearing what Tomas says, I was like, maybe I'm just being stubborn and not believing. But I'm like, I guess to me that's not even definitive enough. You know what I mean? like. But maybe that's my mistake for not thinking that. But I bet you if I did that, I bet you I would get closer to whatever the actual answer is. You know? So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think it's like, I mean, I guess you can have a map for music. I don't feel like I ever really
well, I just
followed a
meant
map.
learning, like for my goal. I mean, if there's no
Yeah.
goal, then of course then there's no map. You know, like
No, I know, but I just mean like I think like the thing is like when I listen to those guys play, the reason why they don't feel like they're just like regurgitating like scales and stuff is I think because ultimately at some point they're just kind of going off of like what they're hearing in their head, right? Like, yeah, all the scale stuff and all that ear training, it's supposed to help to find like better connections
so that's why I
and
wanted to do the
understanding,
ear
but
course because I feel like when I make stuff for guitar in my head, it's a lot different than when I pick up the guitar and I play the same bullshit I've been playing the last 10 years.
yeah, but I think so. The thing is, I guess I kind of agree with what Tomas was saying was like if you just try to emulate what those guys are doing,
Yeah.
it probably just opens your ear and mind and hands to do new stuff, right? Like
Mm.
it's just like sometimes I guess right, like people say sometimes you got to copy it for a while before you can start making it your own.
Yeah. And
Because
sometimes
I think personally, I think if you keep diving too far into just like all that ear stuff, I'm not against it. It's just like if you dive in too much to the too analytical portion, then you just get bogged down into the analytics of stuff, right? Like most of the times the good music is good because of like people just kind of going with what they hear and they maybe try to push themselves in some way, but I don't think for the most part, I don't think most people when they make the tunes that have made it, I don't think most of them were thinking like, oh, it needs to like have this scale or this
yeah,
feel,
yeah, not all the
or I
time.
did all this ear training in
Well,
order to get to this level.
the purpose
Like
of
I,
that ear training, I think, was to get you're more resonated with the instrument, so that whatever you think in your head, you should be able to play it immediately. You know, because
oh
when I
yeah,
think of shit in my head, I gotta figure it out right now on my guitar. So that was the purpose of me doing that. Is that when I think of some shit, like I could think of a solo a lot of the times in my head, but I need to learn it first on my guitar before I can actually play it. You know what I mean? Versus those dudes, because I've heard them sometimes talk. Sometimes they are freestyling, but sometimes like nah, I really thought do, and he obviously at this point they can play do. You know, like they don't gotta like find do on the guitar. Versus like I have to find do before I know that. You know
oh,
what I mean?
I think that's the thing is they probably at some point were having to find it too. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
for
Like
sure, for sure.
So I think
But they were
that's
playing
just
for 8 hours
part of
a day, so they took care of that at some point. And I'm
yeah,
not doing
yeah,
that right now.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
I'm sure some of
yeah. I
those
mean,
8 hours were like just finding do 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 do. You know? But at a certain point, you don't gotta
yeah.
find it no more.
Hmm.
So I think younger version of me was way more into the idea of playing for hours at a time. I'm not so sure I'm into that anymore. You know?
Yeah, I definitely don't feel that. I think that's why I've done like the whole beat thing.
Mm,
Because I've thought about it, like if I would want to play drums again. Maybe at some point I would, but like I remember I started getting to the point where I was starting to feel like I was hitting a wall where I didn't feel I was like progressing as much. So then I started doing all those like exercises where it was like a lot of like keep this like rhythmic syncopation on or rhythm in my right hand and then like break down every like 16 note or like triplet that I can do on my left hand and then try to do it on the bass and then maybe try to orchestrate it on the toms and like stuff like that.
yeah.
And it was like it was fun in some moments, but in other moments I was just like for the most part, I'm not gonna be doing this. Like, even though, like, like, I don't know if you've ever heard when a drummer just feels like too busy. Like, it's like, dude, like, you're like the whole feel of the song just feels weird because it's just like, it's just too over the top. I mean, I think there's certain moments where it's good, but I think a lot of those times those guys have gone to the next levels of understanding of how of what actually feels good, even though it is busy,
Yeah.
but still feels good. Because there's other times where you'll hear that the busyness, but it just feels busy rather than having a meaning to the busyness kind of thing. So I don't know. Yeah, to me, like I agree where you're saying, like, I don't know if I'd ever be in the mindset to do those types of sessions, that kind of practicing anymore. And I feel bad because I feel like I probably should have been doing those earlier in my studies, but I
For
was doing
sure.
it more in the later stages because I was starting to feel
Like bored or
bored with my
plateaued.
playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so I was starting to feel bored personally with my playing because I was like, okay, well, I've gotten to the point where I feel good about stuff. It feels fine when I'm playing, but now I'm just like feeling bored, like I'm just like not being pushing myself creatively. So then I was like, okay, I need to maybe start doing more of these exercises that really push me to have to like break out of my common like the common stuff that I know how to play that just like kind of comes out naturally, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it was like yeah, you're right. I don't know if I'm in that mindset to ever want to do stuff like that.
I
I
think
don't think I ever did 8 hours a day though,
oh
but
yeah,
I
I don't I
definitely
mean
would.
they never did that.
Yeah.
But it seems like when they were in high school, I think they kind of seemed to do 6 days every day, like the minute they got out, you know. And I'm like, man, that's that real love. That's why they make it, and necessarily we don't. That's the part of the stories people forget is like how dedicated
Man,
were we versus them, you know?
dude, so the thing though is that the reality though is that there's probably still people that have done that and still never make it also though.
um,
Because I've
I
met
wonder.
some really good
I don't see. So I don't
I've
fully
met some
believe
really
that.
good
I don't
I've
fully
met
believe
some really
that.
good musicians that
No.
just were like, okay, like
But
they
so
seemed
to that I
down.
would ask, right? Because this is where it goes into every journey, and this is why the quote unquote lucky part with them, right, in the Dream Theory case might be is that maybe it happened for them young. But I feel like like if you're doing that and you do that forever, and you also don't stay in your room forever because that might make you stay in your room so that someone can know you exist. Like it'll probably take you down a journey, like does it maybe take you down the journey of being like an artist like they got to be Dream Theater? No, but it's like if it don't take you down a journey of being someone's session player at some point in some band, like,
You
then
think that's more your fault than? Okay,
well,
I
I
get
mean,
what you're saying.
cause like they, I said the reason why they got lucky is because it happened young for them, right? Like, dude, these guys, like, I think quit Berkeley in like semester one, I believe. You know what I mean? Like so that's like pretty
Mhm.
quick. Um, if not one, then two. But it's like maybe for most people it don't happen that quick. But like had they maybe stuck with whatever they're, even if it's not 6 hours, but like they're just going hard in whatever their way long enough. But I've been watching this Mark Ronson documentaries on music. It's on Apple if you have access to that Apple Plus. If not, don't worry. You know, music's
Okay.
cool. You already know. You know, but you know, each one picks a topic like reverb, like yeah, it's just funny, right? Who the fuck picks reverb to talk about for a whole episode? But yeah, synthesizers or drums or right MPC drums, auto tune. But in the synthesizer one, man, Duran Duran song got played. I've been hearing Duran Duran, yo, and almost like on some like confirmation of like how Rick Beato likes to. He's a YouTube guitar player if you don't know him, but how he likes to just bitch about you know, maybe how music was more complicated back then in terms of the pop stuff. But man, that was like confirmation. I feel a lot of times, man, they'll change key for the chorus, you know? Um,
Mm.
and then, yo, the Police, I feel like they're the goats. I'm like, yo, they will change key like for each section. I was like fuck a chorus. I was like, this is pop music. I was like now that I'm a bit more aware of things now, you know, like Police is kind of hard, man. Like they really dope. Um, but I was like, damn, son, I can't imagine a pop song being written like this, where I just keep changing the key like every fucking couple of bars. I was like, this is lunacy. Yo, he spit out some numbers that the Police. I don't know. I think they have like 22. I can't remember. There was some songs. There's one song that has 22 modulations in one song. I'm like, it's a pop song.
Oh damn.
I was like, what? Why? Why? I was like, what is this? I was like, who knew Sting got down like this? I was like, but yeah, and I don't know. I felt like it's funny. I don't think change like I think because it's done so rare, that's like an easy cheat to do something cool in your music. But I'm like, I
Mm.
think if you learn like basic music theory, I'm like, cool, you changed the key, right? No one gives a shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think it's so rare now that it's like people will be like, yo, what just happened? When I did it in the beat battle, Willis was like, yo, that part where you changed the mood, yo, that shit was hard. I was like so it's kind of interesting, just to hear that and like how that is no longer done, you know?
Yeah.
The closest we have to that is I like to joke, yo, Drake rapped on 3 beats in that one song. I was like, it's when they glue beats together, you know, like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the closest we have to that now. But yeah, no, I just thought it was kind of interesting that damn, the pop songs of the past, yo. Oh, and you know what? Mentioned Fleetwood Mac the other day when we was talking, yo, man, I almost feel that would be a different set of 8 hours. So if you want to do finger picking like that guy, because that guy's a bit of fucking monster, man. I was like, it's kind of just crazy how these quote unquote pop groups had some
Mm.
like for what they do, they had some demons in there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
that 70s and maybe 80s periods to a degree. And maybe I'm just underselling every other year, but I almost feel like that 70s and 80s pop era has a lot of musicians that they seem capable of some higher level things, you know,
Mm.
than maybe the norm, what is required of a pop person, you know, like I make mainstream music person, you know, like
Yeah, yeah.
it's kind of it's just interesting, the talent pool from those two kind of eras, you know, because
Yeah. Well, uh, you mean like the talent pool as far as the people that are seen, right? Because I would feel like any
We
of
didn't
these
live there,
studio
yeah. So I'm just looking at the surface level mainstream, right?
yeah,
But that talent pool of mainstream artists, they seem to be capable of a lot more than I would expect from, oh, you're a mainstream artist, right? Because I guess by this point, especially now, right, we're in an electronic world, so it's like I expect singer-songwriters who, at this point, the acoustic guitar might be replaced by like the beat or a laptop or whatever, right? But
yeah,
essentially, singer-songwriters and rappers, right? Right. But even like the ones who are musicians now, right? Like, all right, you make a rock song, cool. You make I don't know, whatever's not a
yeah.
rock song that requires it. You make a country song, cool. But it don't seem like they necessarily. And I'm sure somebody exists, right? There's always somebody, but it don't seem like on a mainstream level, like they're trying to push it. Like, all right, we famous, we make songs. Let's make good songs, and they're probably good songs, but they're not like. There's no crazy shit. There's no like, yeah, I'm Lindsey Buckingham. Like, I dare you to do this type of bullshit. Like, even though I'm still doing a 4-chord singer-songwriter emo song, I'm like, I bet you can't play these arpeggios. Like, and it's just like his hands going buck wild, yo. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? I was like, my arms gas, my fingers would gas like in like 4 seconds. I'm like even attempting like that type of speed, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know, it's just kind of crazy. Or like I was just saying, even as something as simple as changing key. Probably more recent example I heard was like a Foo Fighters song, and I was like, it was him. I'm not a big Foo Fighters guy, but I know he's good at what he does. Um, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. That's true. I can see what you're saying. As
I
far as
think a lot of these things, what is revealing more to me, and again, I guess I have to create my own map, but I feel like I don't need to be the GOAT, right? I don't need to learn what Dream Theater knows, but I bet you, it
yeah.
seems like if you learn whatever that real percentage is, I don't know, but I bet you if I learn like 1 to 2% of the right thing, I can probably make shit that's so different from everybody else. And I don't even need to go that hard. I don't need to go to the Dream Theater route of like learning all these modes, right? But I bet you there's probably like a few things here and there because it's so sporadically used in the currently in our current time frame that you just learn like
Yeah.
a few tricks. Right? They probably only tricks because it's now. Probably not even tricks, but they're just tricks because it's now. And like, oh shit, now you're just this freak. You do some crazy shit, and all you're doing is changing keys for your chorus maybe every time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's true.
but I don't know. It's just some thoughts.
Yeah.
There's some other like, so I didn't even ask like the little musical questions now, but I don't know. It might go longer if I keep doing it. But so I don't even know if I should ask any of that stuff. Here, I'll just do it because why not? But like, I don't even know if I wanted to do the origin thing. But here, I'll ask this part. Like, at this point, and you probably like answered it here and there. Like, but as you've had, what one of the things I asked like Statics on the other day was like, what keeps him going in music? So obviously you way different than us because you've kind of like just like CM Punk, you've come back, right? But you've come back in a different way, like, so like yeah, like at this point, what even keeps you like flirting with music the way you do? Like obviously you haven't come back to drums, but you still came back in some way. What even does that?
I think it's because I don't have a job right now.
No, but you were talking about it before, so no, that's not a good answer.
Nah.
That's a better answer for me.
I mean, that's my Vince. What is it, Vince
Vince
Staples
Staples
answer?
answer, yeah.
Yeah, man. I have a job right now.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
have to worry
So I'm
about.
just hoping this makes money. Because once someone pays me, it's over. The shit's done. This music shit's done.
Yeah, I mean, really, nah. I think it's just I don't know, because music is my life.
But it's not. Like you kind of
It's
proved
not.
it the last couple. Yeah, like it's not.
It's just part of my heart.
Mm.
It's part of my soul. It's
Is,
part of.
is that real or not? I don't. I can't tell.
No, it's not. Uh, I don't know. It's just. I think it's just like it's fun to do. I think
mm.
I've come back for it. Not actually. It's what you said earlier. I came back to it not really thinking too much about it anymore.
Mm.
It was just more of like a fun thing to do. I had the time, and then because you became less stringent on the on the beat making time, I was like, okay, so I still feel a little bit of it where I still have to get it done at some point, and I also don't
But
want
that's the
to.
beat battle. But you've talked about making beats, and
Oh,
you reminded me today of the rapper even before that. So I'm like,
yeah.
so
I mean,
what keeps it
what
like?
keeps me one?
Well,
Maybe
because
it's because I
you
never
did
did it.
drums most of the time here, and I guess you've put that at least to the side for now. But it seems like there's
Yeah.
still a little like craving for
It could
something, you
just
know?
be because I never did it.
Mm.
It might actually just be that. I think the reality is I don't have a true answer.
Okay.
Besides that, maybe it is because I never did it. That now that I have some time and I reflect on life, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to do it. Maybe it could be also a mix of me just listening to people these days and thinking like you were saying, I don't need to try to make something that's so like musically advanced. Like it could just be something that I'm feeling in the moment and digging while I'm making it. Uh, but it could also just be. I think that the answer is that I don't have an answer, and
Mm.
it sucks because I would like to have an answer, but I don't think I have a real one. It was just like I think I always just wanted to make beats. I always wanted to make that rap album.
Yeah.
I never really truly tried it, so maybe this is my time now that I'm not really doing the actual instrument stuff,
Got you.
that it feels like, well, it's something I could do. I think it is also like listening to what's going on now, music wise. I know people can say it's like simple, but I think I do like the whole like you mentioned it where it feels like people are just finding cool sounds and stuff. Uh, I think I like that vibe.
I mean, it is simple, but at the same time, like if that's what you like, that's what you like. Because I mean, like you can argue, like people probably wouldn't see it this way, but I'm like, right? I always made fun of singer songwriters, right? Because it seemed like they were really, uh, they just learned their four chords so they could
Yeah.
sing on some music. And
Yeah,
now that's what beats are, right? You just learn your four
that's true.
things. The only difference is maybe they make them
Yeah.
sound cooler than an acoustic guitar at times, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Depending on how that guitar played, you know, because most people are not playing like Lindsey Buckingham; they're just strumming. They're just strumming, you know.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
so yeah, like most people, like that's the standard, you know. So those four chords, they might sound amazing in the right hands, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I think just in like now, like we're in, everybody does it. We're just saturated. So like, just I guess for me, and I guess I've always been mad at it since I was a child, and people tell me what to do, right? You just, I don't know. I'm always like, there has to be something more, you know, and that just might be how I'm programmed, right? So I have to just go the other way, you know. Um,
Yeah.
it's more than this, you know. But and that probably holds me back if that's the goal of the goal is making it. But yeah, I'm trying. I've kind of removed myself from that now. Now it's more like just do this, you know, and just do what you want and don't worry about the rest, you know. Like don't be attached to outcomes as much. Just kind of do it. Just fight,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, I don't know, but if this is what you like, then now's a better time than ever. And that being said, you don't make that stuff either. You know, I always say that to Dan a lot. I'm like, Dan was so big on EDM. I was like, why the fuck you keep making beats? You always you DJ all this dubstep shit and you never make one dubstep track. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I was like, you clearly love this shit, but so I'm like, yeah, like right now you don't make any of those. You don't make any type of stuff like that, you know?
Like beats, you mean?
Well, like the stuff you send me, you know, like the world music
Oh,
aside,
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
make
I
any
see
of
what you're
that simple
saying.
shit. Funny enough.
Yeah, yeah. No, I see what you're saying. One, it's because I don't think I can make it. I mean, maybe I
That's why you
could if
don't
I
make
would.
it, because you just answered the
But
question.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Essentially, it's like I feel like I've come to just make what I hear, and maybe it's just like the thing, like the whole rap thing, like you're saying, where I'm still being too timid about it or like too afraid of just trying to do it. With the beat stuff, something finally clicked in my head of like, let me just do it. Like, let me just do what I'm hearing, and like some of it comes out good, some of it doesn't.
Yeah, that's it.
But if I like it in the moment, then that's good enough that I like
That's
it in
really
the
all that
moment.
matters, man. I think
Yeah,
I think what ruined, at least for me, like a lot of the love was just trying to be like something else, you know, for music.
yeah,
Um, and trying to be like the stuff I didn't like sucked, and trying to be like the stuff I like sucked because it's not day one achievable.
yeah,
So
exactly.
it's more about, all right, well, just try to be you, and learn some
Yeah,
things along the way. You know.
yeah. I mean, I'd like to make a club song sometime.
Do it. You should.
That's my goal, is to try to get one song that gets played in the club.
There you go.
Be like, all right,
Well, that's easy. Just
you,
know a
you
DJ and
remember?
he'll play it. But I mean, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, there we go. I'm talking about like I want to go to the club,
And
which
hear
I
your
never
shit.
do,
Yeah,
and just hear it without me having known that it would be in the
got
club.
you. You
Like,
won't walk in the
okay.
club. So I want to hear that next time you send me a beat. I want it to sound like dun 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 dun. I want to hear that Kid Leroy thing, and I want to hear you rapping on it. You know,
Um, yeah.
All right, do you got any last words?
Um. No.
Good job. Good job. All right, dude. Well, that was a fun one. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering we came with no topic, I think it started out real good. So
Yeah. 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 Good wrestling podcast.
yeah, because we didn't talk about wrestling really, but the little bit you knew, I was able to relate it. So
Yeah. Yeah. My PS1
yeah,
knowledge.
man. Yeah, see. That's podcast skill level. I can always work with whatever people
Yeah.
have, like that comes from doing all the ones I've done my whole life.
Nice.
But all right, dude.
All right, man.
Bacon, you gonna do beat battle this week?
I'll try to. I know I missed the last two.
Yeah, yeah.
It's because I've been gaming. Well, the last
That's
week
the
I just kind
answer.
of.
I thought you were just busy with real life because you on real life
Well,
things.
last
My
week.
man said
Last week,
games.
yeah.
I've been games.
Last week it was that I was actually got busy with like chores and stuff, but yeah, this week, dude, I started playing Zelda last weekend, and then I've been playing like all
Well,
week.
like Breath of Wild.
Like, yeah, like nonstop. Like basically once my girlfriend goes to work, I'm like playing until she comes for lunch. She
Jeez.
she leaves for lunch, and
I
then I
have a
go
Wii
play
U
again.
emulator. Should I get that game? Everybody plays that game on Wii U apparently.
Oh, okay. I'm playing it on the Switch, but I guess it
Yeah,
did come out on Wii U, right?
yeah, yeah.
I like it. I mean, I think some of the criticisms was just like maybe it's so big, or not so much so big, but there's some parts where it feels like there's nothing really to do
Yeah, yeah.
on the Outworld. But I've liked it so far. But it could just be because I haven't gamed in a long time,
Yeah.
so I'm coming at it from like feeling like a kid again, where like
That's cool.
you know,
I think so I don't know if I'll actually ever give it a try just cuz I don't know. But lately, probably I've just been doing too much escapism shit, but the two games I played lately were both like nostalgia games. I got the Wii U emulator to play Xenoblade Chronicles X. You probably never heard of that, but funny enough, it's nowhere near as famous as Zelda, but they're probably the same game and a different thing. Like it also has a really tremendous open world like kind of experience. But then like it has mechs and shit, and that's like good for anime people like me.
Oh, okay. Nice. That sounds cool. I've heard the name. I've never played it though.
That one specifically, it's not like the more famous ones, because the more famous ones don't have mechs. I was like, what the fuck? Why? Why not? I was like, I want robots.
Yeah. Okay.
But this one does. It's pretty ridiculous. And the other one was Dragon's Crown 3, and that was a PS3 emulator. So both these games I owned at one time, and I think I just kind of wanted to play them again. And I played them again for like a little bit, and now I haven't really played it. I think I just kind of wanted to just get a little taste of like what it was like, and then got the nostalgia, and now I'm good again. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But alright, dude. I'll let you go because I want to play with the AC a little bit more, and then I got to do the next thing.
All right, man. Sounds good.
All right, dude. Have a good one. Bake that chicken. Smoke that turkey. Boosh.
Another Thursday, another beat battle. Snakes that make noise, ones that go rattle. Stone cold on that ass stunner. Oh my gosh, got knocked out again. What a bummer. Dumb and dumber, so you mean that there's a chance? Moving forward, Armin Van Buren, state of trance. Awake, sleeping, P.O.D. I'm beeping. Reloaded beats, I'm freaking. Day before the weekend, So far, Zerk's joining the stars. Static's coming real hard. 43 we come far. Started out in August. COVID thought we lost this. Call me flag cause I'm lossless. 1 hour now we lawless. Slab City, someone donate me some biddies or some Amazon Prime. Busting fat freestyle rhymes. I'm not Chino, I'm not here to save you all. Like Niagara, I would love to see y'all all fall. Like the volume on this synth. Time to enter a new labyrinth. All I wanna do is play my guitar, but here I am rapping ghetto superstar. All I wanna do is play my guitar, because I'm rapping with a superstar. What else can I just say on this beat? Toilet bowl, take a seat. Deuces dropping, beep beep. Or should I say flop flop? Water touching my Johnson like thanks pops. Best believe when I'm done with this toilet, ain't no blank spots. This what happens when I'm fucking freestyling. Man, my lyrics wildin', but at least I'm fucking smiling. I think it's time we wrap it up now. Condom, would love to do some more, but when I'm physical, it's quantum. Boosh.